Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
What happened to the sport that I love? Major League Baseball. Hey, welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We got so much on the plate for you today. We got to start it off with Paul Skeens, Pearl, because for the second time, the Pittsburgh Pirates pull him when he's got a no-hit bid late into the game. Yesterday was after 7 innings, no-hit baseball. He had not even topped 100 pitches. This one, to me, felt even more egregious than the last time because Paul Skeens is the phenom who was the number 1 overall pick from LSU, as you remember. He's likely going to be starting the All-Star game. Can we just acknowledge via the Pittsburgh Pirates, this is not a regular guy. You don't have to treat him in the regular way. You know, you can push somebody like him. This is one of the special people, Perloff. Why don't they get that?
So you must protect Paul Skeens at all costs. You must protect this person. The fact that the manager said his body was not responding the right way by the 6th inning, I mean, and some teams would have sat him out for 6 months just from that comment. Are you kidding me? These pitchers are like glass dolls or whatever. You have to protect them, Maggie. You cannot put I do not want to see Paul Skeens go under the knife in 2 weeks.
Okay.
You must protect this 22-year-old phenom.
Okay, well, here's the thing, and I've got a news flash for everybody who thinks they know how to protect a pitcher's arm.
Yes.
You have no idea what you're doing and what you're talking about.
And you know more than the teams?
I'm just saying, this is a guy who clearly can handle the workload, and on top of it, he's got the All-Star break coming up. He's got extra time to rest. If you're worried about the load, the pitch count, you know, the stress on the body, all of that stuff, well, he's about to have this extended break. This is also, by the way, the freshest he'll ever be in his career. He's young, 22-year-old who has was this his 7th outing? Whatever. No, I'm sorry. It must be like his 11th. This is crazy to me that this is the guy where you're like, oh my gosh, we have to. This is, to me, you're trying to have this exact science and you're trying to make baseball a math problem. Mm-hmm. And it's not, because everyone's different and you can't predict what one guy's arm is going to do over another guy. So to run and hide and just be scared all the time of pushing somebody when this would actually be the time to push and to make some history, this was the moment, and the Pirates blew it.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? First of all, this whole thing presumes that the Pirates weren't doing what's in best interest of the Pirates and Paul Skeens. Like, they want this guy to be awesome. They think that this is our best chance to get the most out of this pitcher. Like, they're doing what's in the best self-interest, which is to keep him healthy. They're not pulling him because they are the no-fun team and they don't want to see a no-hitter. I'm sure they want to see a no-hitter, but they're doing everything they can to protect this young player because look around the baseball. What do you see with pitchers who are throwing like him? Surgery. So, of course, they have to be careful here. If you were the owner or the manager of the Pirates, you would have pulled him too, and you know it.
Well, here's the thing, though. You want to talk about why there's all these surgeries and why all these starting pitchers are feeling this, just this awful fatigue. I'm telling you, that problem started long before Paul Skeens took the mound in Milwaukee yesterday. You want to talk about actually changing baseball and actually changing how much wear and tear is on these guys' arms from when they're kids and all the things that lead to all of this workload that by the time they get basically to the minors, they've had a Tommy John surgery or they blow their elbows out. That's a whole philosophical discussion. What happened yesterday in Milwaukee and what we're seeing with Paul Skeens is he's not a regular type of person. You can't apply the normal things you would put on an average pitcher and put him in this kind of box.
Why? Well, what's special about Paul Skeens' arms?
He's basically breaking every record.
He can throw it. Yeah, but why would he have any different formula for his possibility of getting hurt? What possible difference is there between Paul Skeens and anybody else who throws with a crazy motion like that.
They don't know. You have no idea.
They kind of know.
What? How? Everyone's injured.
We all know. I am not any kind of medical expert or sort of baseball analytics who study injury. I know if that guy keeps pitching, he's going to get hurt. I know that, Maggie, because you know why? Because I've watched baseball highlights on SportsCenter the last 10 years, and every guy who throws like that goes under the knife.
Okay.
And you know it. I know it. Everybody listening knows it. This dude is going to get hurt if they don't protect him.
Okay, and you know what? Him throwing an extra 25 pitches in Milwaukee before the All-Star break is not going to be the difference in him getting Tommy John. It's not. And that's a disingenuous argument to think that unless he like literally pops it when he's out there, the elbow, and even then you'd have to look back through all of his history to wonder, how did I get to this point? It's like there's not one thing. It's the buildup and the accumulation, but an extra 20 pitches or whatever it might have taken him to get through this no-hitter, that's not what's going to put it over the edge. That's not the way this goes.
What makes you think that? Why would you say that? It's got to
be the accumulation of full seasons and things like that, not an individual outing.
So
if you're talking about Tommy John, if you're talking about just getting hurt some other way, all right, you can pull a hamstring or whatever in an individual game. If you're talking about the wear and tear on the elbow, that is not just about one outing.
So you're saying that. So why didn't if that's a fact, then why did the team pull him?
Because they're scared.
Because they know the extra 20 pitches does mean something. It definitely does mean something, and that's how they were thinking. It's not a boogeyman, a fear out of nowhere. They're looking at numbers. They're like, ooh, this is probably danger zone.
Let's put this out to the fans, 855-212-4227, because I'm curious what people think about this. It's like, in some ways I'm really happy with a lot of the changes that baseball made, and I like that the games are faster, and I actually like some of the new rules like the ghost runner on second and stuff like that. I'm not totally against all innovation here, but sometimes I feel like I don't recognize the sport that I really like. Sometimes I feel like I'm just watching a math problem that the front office is trying to solve when there is a human element to this. There's a competitive element to it. There's more than just spreadsheets and stat sheets and Excel sheets. And that's why we like it. And they're taking some of that joy away. And listen, just watching Paul Skeens is a pleasure, so you're going to get that. And he's likely going to start the All-Star game. They're going to do the right thing there, and it's going to be fun. He'll pitch his one inning. He'll face Aaron Judge. It's going to be great. It's going to be great theater. But this is like a bigger problem where a lot of these moves, there are moves that just don't, to the layperson, don't make any sense. And maybe this isn't one of them. Maybe you agree with Perloff and he should have gotten pulled. But there's like a broader thing happening here where you feel like sometimes these front offices are too smart for their own good, or they're outsmarting themselves, because even the teams that are great, who win 100 games or 95 games, aren't winning the World Series sometimes. So what does it all lead to? Like, what is all your mathing doing? Is it really actually making your team more successful? I don't know.
Can I say one thing too about Paul Skeens and the no-hitter?
Yeah.
The value of a no-hitter to me is not what it used to be. Maybe Paul Skeens is interesting because he could chase Nolan Ryan for the most no-hitters ever. But listen to the last, I was looking at a list of no-hitters. I mean, it is nobody's city. Like, does anyone care anymore?
I think they do. And I think the pitchers do.
Ronel Blanco, Michael Lorenzen, Framber Valdez, Domingo Germán. I can't read Detmers. There's a bunch of combined ones. Tyler Gilbert. I'm not seeing big names. Yeah, I mean, he's pretty good. I just feel like there's no Cy Young winners on this list. It's sort of like, does it mean anything? Is that big a deal to get a possible no-hitter? Which is, by the way, he still had 2 innings left. Is it really that big a deal for Paul Skeens to get a no-hitter right now? Like, oh, man, we needed to see that?
I mean, I think to him it probably is, and I think for pitchers it's a badge of honor. But the other part, too, is look at the historic season that he's on track for, right?
Right.
And again, this is the second time they've pulled him late into a start where he's had a no-hitter. Like, we're watching something here that's pretty amazing, everybody, And I think baseball fans and even casuals, just sports fans, are understanding what's happening. Imagine adding no-hitter to that. First guy to ever be an all-star after being drafted number 1 overall. The excitement that he's given to the Pittsburgh Pirates, everybody. The Pirates. Been a while, all right? And just to put a cap and a limit on him, it just seems like you're doing a disservice. Again, you, the Pirates, unfortunately, you don't have a crystal ball. You know, you can try, but every arm and every pitcher is going to be different. And just to say, well, we've got this stat sheet, we've got this formula here. Newsflash, your formulas don't work, Major League Baseball. They don't work.
But the Maggie Gray formula of when a pitcher is out there does.
Listen, you'll never go wrong with the Maggie Gray formula.
Yeah, I mean, can we just talk about what's really going on here?
What's that?
It's the Shohei Ohtani argument. Like, you want Shohei to pitch because it's cool as a fan. You want to see this historic, never been done before thing. I think it's insane to cut short a 6 MVP in a row run from Shohei Ohtani, the best hitter in baseball, to watch him pitch for 4 weeks before he gets hurt. Like, what? Why would we do that? And everybody, it seems like you're in the majority. Everyone wants to see Shohei pitch. You realize, like, the MVPs are over if he pitches. He's definitely getting hurt. Because the wear and tear of batting and pitching is insane, and he's 100% going to get it. I don't need any spreadsheets to figure that out. If Shohei goes out and pitches, it has a shelf life of about 2 months.
Okay, well, we're talking about two separate things here. If you want to call in on Paul Skeens and whether or not he should have been pulled yesterday at 855-212-4227, you're welcome to do that. The Shohei thing is not exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, it's the same thing to me. Protect these stars. Protect Paul Skeens. Okay, don't get him out there just because you want to see it. Like, you got to have this guy be a consistent star. That's one of the problems with today's baseball. The great pitchers like Jacob deGrom, like, you never ever see them. You see them, they do half a season here, half a season there. It's the same exact argument. Like, you got to stop these guys from getting hurt all the time. So that means you pull Paul Skeens in the 7th inning. That means you don't pitch Shohei. That means that you do look at these spreadsheets and say, we have to stop having our pitchers get hurt all the time.
So the reason why I want to see Shohei pitch again is not because I just want to see something cool. I've been seeing that. I've been treated and delighted to that since he got to America and since he's put on this incredible display. I think it's amazing. Why I think he needs to come back and pitch is because I think he needs to be closing out World Series games for the Dodgers. Because the Dodgers, yes, they won in 2020. That is a fugazi championship. Even the most diehard Dodger fan would have to admit 60 games plus a playoffs is absolutely nothing. I'm glad we had baseball because we needed distractions during the pandemic, but that is not on pace and not on par with every other World Series title. And if you are the Dodgers, what's been your bugaboo in all these successful seasons, but not being able to finally close the deal? And it's been pitchers getting hurt, pitchers not being able to be at their full self, Clayton Kershaw not delivering, all this stuff. That's why I want to see Shohei come back and pitch, because I want to see what I saw in the World Baseball Classic, which is Shohei Ohtani coming out of the bullpen to strike somebody out to win a championship. And I think that's how they should use him, not so much as a starter. They need him to win. They need him to pitch.
Well, I mean, you're basically, depends when you bring him in, but if you're pulling you're not, first of all, he's not staying healthy to Game 7 of the World Series. You're pulling a guy with a 1,100 OPS out of the lineup is insane. Insane to me.
Well, you don't have to pull him out of the lineup.
I'm saying you pitch him for 3 weeks, he's hurt. He's out of the batting lineup. I'm telling you, it's not. And you pitch Paul Skeens, you start pitching Paul Skeens 9 innings, he's getting hurt. You know it. We all know it. In fact, Paul Skeens is getting hurt anyway. That's just.
Don't do that.
Oh, come on.
Don't do that.
Do you really think that this guy can? Do you watch him pitch like he's like Chris Sale combined with Steven Strasburg? He's throwing 100 miles an hour with crazy motion. You think that's going to last? We all know it. Come on.
Listen, he's a strikeout pitcher, and he's got crazy stuff.
Yes.
And that's...
You don't get crazy stuff without throwing at a crazy arm angle. It's going to be... I love to see it, but, man, you have to protect this guy at all costs because he's the most exciting... Well, I mean, he's like one of the 2 or 3 most exciting things going on. Shohei's number one. Yeah. I would say L.A. De La Cruz and him. That's what you got right now. So protect the stars.
855-212-4227. All right, you're welcome to weigh in there on Paul Skeens. Spencer's in the chat. You can watch us, youtube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network, also on X at Maggie and Pearl. He said if the Pirates would have had a 5-run lead, Skeens would have gone out in the 8th. I don't know if it was that kind of decision, if it was just what was happening in the game decision. They end up winning the game 1-0. It was a close one. But the way they were talking about it, Derek Shelton, the manager, was talking about it after, was like he was getting fatigued and they thought they were seeing his, obviously he threw a no-hitter. Of course he's fatigued. That happens. That's okay. It's not a crime to be fatigued when you're trying to get through a no-no. But anyway, I don't know if it was about the score, but that's a good point. 855-212-4227. All right, lots to do. We've got football on tap for you. We've got the final region of the Maggie and Perloff sitcom bracket to reveal to you today. This is the MASH region. The amount of text messages that have been going back and forth, it's scaring me because I'll put my phone down for a minute and I'll come back and it's like, you have 47 unread text messages. I'm like, that's high. Feels high.
Did you score the winning touchdown in a playoff game?
I was like, something either really good happened or something really bad happened. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. It's just everyone else on the team just arguing about sitcoms.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to stop. Please, America, help us. You're going to get to vote today, as you always do, on the final region of the Maggie and Perloff sitcom bracket. So that comes your way in about 45 minutes. All right, don't move. Your calls on Paul Skeens, 855-212-4227.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
What the is Aaron Rodgers up to today?
Welcome back to Maggie Perloff. One thing I happen to know about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Nobody lives for off-season golf tournaments in the NFL like Aaron Rodgers. He starts talking about them in March. He loves this one's the American champion. What's it called? The American
in Tahoe, whatever.
Yeah,
it's called.
I think he's the most consistent person there. My buddy Case Keenum told me, he's done it a bunch of times. Came in top 3 twice, I think. He said Rodgers is so into this because he's a sick golfer, but he's making news this time. Aside from all the side stuff with Aaron Rodgers, some actual football news, Maggie.
Yeah, he was on the course, and someone asked him a question about playing with Davante Adams. So here you go.
I love Lou Getsy. He's a fantastic coach. Awesome. I love Davante. I can't wait to play with him again.
Okay. Now, I think a lot of this is just like in the ether, because you had Davante Adams is on this new Netflix show called Receiver. He was doing press for it where he told Kay Adams Rodgers is in his ear all the time trying to get him to, he didn't exactly say what, like not go to New York necessarily. Maybe they would just team up again. Like it's just, guys are under contract, so they're not going to, go out there and say stuff that's going to pin them into something awkward. But now it's another thing where Rodgers like, I can't wait to play with him again. Like, where, when, who, how,
Definitely. Well, there's a lot of angles to this. One, I have to credit EJ Stewart for this because I thought we were on the production call. Our executive producer who's out with a knee injury. Maybe he's talking about golf. I'm still obsessed with this because I read the Pro Football Talk. I read the Pro Football Talk piece 100 times, and everybody thinks it's football. I can't wait to play with him again. EJ thinks he means play with him on the golf course. That would make this whole story.
No. It doesn't hold up because they said Luke Getsy, who's the offensive coordinator for the Raiders.
Okay, all right, good. Okay.
And that was Rodgers' old coordinator.
So, all right, so we're clear. We're talking football. I think that it's interesting. I like the scenario where it's another team. It's not the Jets. And it's not the Raiders that they do like a LeBron and get the party started somewhere else. Say a team, Aaron Rodgers goes down to a team with a lot of cap space. Carolina, Aaron Rodgers throwing to Davante Adams. Aaron just bringing all his friends down, bring MVS. I bring
RFK.
Yeah, no. What's that? Randall Cobb.
Mercedes Lewis is going to be there.
Bring Mercedes Lewis. Bring AJ Hawk out of retirement.
David Bakhtiari.
McAfee can punt. I think we should form the Aaron Rodgers dream team on some random franchise.
Unfortunately, everyone's going to get tuberculosis.
But let me ask you this. It does seem that it's possible, just straight up, the Jets trade for Davante Adams halfway through the year because the Jets should be a playoff contender if Rodgers is healthy. They have an amazing defense. And Davante Adams, probably the Raiders are not going to be a contender. Makes perfect sense. Why is this as simple as, hey, man, the Jets should go for Adams?
They should. I mean, I don't know. Can they do that? Can they even? Do they have I guess they have the draft capital, right?
Tyreek Hill got a 22 pick, and Davante himself was like a 23 pick when he went from the Packers to the Raiders. So they definitely just, hey, we'll give you a first round pick. Give us Davante Adams. I assume they can make the cap space work.
Yeah, I'm never worried about that part of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it seems so obvious that this is possibly going to happen to the point, I almost charge Aaron Rodgers with tampering. I mean, it seems very simple. I'm trying to make this a more complicated story. It's Aaron Rodgers wants Davante Adams in New York.
This was one of the opinions I had last season that I thought for sure, a prediction really, that I thought for sure was going to come true, which I thought Davante Adams was going to ask for a trade before Monday Night Football. I think they played the Patriots or something. Now I don't remember. And I was like, Lisa Salters is going to break the story. I had this all mapped out in my head about how Davante Adams was going to ask for a trade. And then it never happened. And the guy claims that he loves playing in Las Vegas, but he's going to have Aiden O'Connell / Gardner Minshew throwing to him. This team is not going anywhere right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think he does love the lifestyle in Vegas.
You have the rest of your life to live that lifestyle in Vegas, don't you? That's when Vegas was invented.
But I do, current players like he's a West Coast kid. I think he'd rather be out on the West Coast. Life does happen. I mean, he does have a family. We saw on the show. Like, I'm not sure he wants to uproot them to come to New York for 6 months. He doesn't want to be away from his family.
It's New York. It's not the Philippines. I mean, it's not that far away. You're only going for a season.
But you say that, but players think about that. It's not like that simple. Like, oh, okay, it's only 6 months. Like, I wouldn't think that way. I'm not going away from my young kids for 6 months. No way. Not in a million years.
I know, but I get that argument, and I understand. I know these guys are people, and I understand all that. But like, it's not like there aren't schools in New Jersey. There's daycare. There's babysitters. There's houses. It doesn't mean you have to, you can live in two places. You don't have to, like the guy's making $1 gajillion. This is not a financial scrap that they have to put together. Like, this is the kind of thing I feel like where when people say like money doesn't buy you happiness, it doesn't, but money can make your life a lot easier. And so for someone to make a cross-country move from Vegas to New York is a lot easier when you're making Davante Adams money. You can rent a house, you can put your kids in fancy school, and you can live for 6 months.
That family's definitely staying in Vegas.
They can go back there. They don't have to sell their house.
They're not coming to New Jersey for 3 months in October. That's not going to happen. Why? Because you do have a good point. NFL players do get to spend a big chunk of the year at their actual home. No, you wouldn't need to pull him to Jersey. He would just have to go away. That also, like, why do you think he's there now? Like, why do you think he says, I like being a Raider?
I think he's being a good guy. I think
he likes the lifestyle.
And I think he's avoiding a controversy when there's really nothing there, right? It's like you have to make things really messy if you're going to want to get out. This is not the NBA. It's starting to look a little like the NBA, but it's not yet.
I think he's happy there.
Or maybe he's happy, but you can't tell me that a guy who's that competitive, has that kind of fire, is okay being on a 6-win team. I just won't believe it. He's
not LeBron. He doesn't have to like glom onto a good team just to win one here. I think he's like, I want to build a winner myself with the Raiders. Just, Gardner Minshew, drop back, get it up in the air, and I'll take it home, baby.
Well, good luck with all that because you're not making the front office decisions like LeBron is, and you got Mark Davis there with Tom Telesco. And these are two people who have basically no history of legit success outside of, I guess, when Phillip Rivers was, carrying the charge.
Telesco, I think, is a little better than Mark Davis.
Well, that's the owner and GM combination.
He did sort of make a stacked roster with the Chargers. They had the players. They just didn't have the medical staff. I understand what you're saying. I just disagree with you a little bit about the lifestyle thing. The other thing, too, is like going to the Jets. That's an unknown for Davante Adams. Like, will this work? They have, obviously, Garrett Wilson. They just got Mike Williams. I don't know. Do they need him? Probably, because I assume we're all thinking Mike Williams is going to get hurt. But if they have Mike Williams and Garrett Wilson and Davante Adams, how many targets is he going to get there?
I mean, if you're winning a Super Bowl, like, isn't that when you make the sacrifice at this point? Davante Adams is 31. When at this point, you would say, all right, I really want to be in it to win it. And no one's going to accuse you of being like a bus rider because you're Davante Adams,
I don't know. I mean, it's not an unusual move. You don't really see Super Bowl teams, maybe correct me if I'm wrong here, like sign on a all-star receiver to make the difference in week 10. That's not a normal move. But anyway, I agree that Davante would be better fit and a contender, but I disagree with the lifestyle thing. I think that there's going to be a reason he wants to stay in Vegas, and it can't be because of the football, right? I mean, there's just nothing there. You're absolutely right about that. He's got this house that's carved into the mountain in Nevada. It's so gorgeous.
It is cool.
It is really cool.
He doesn't have to abandon it.
He's got these amazing kids, and his wife is like the coolest. They're not going anywhere. I just made like, yeah, they're not going anywhere, but like he doesn't want to miss things so we can sit there and listen to Nathaniel Hackett make jokes from Dumb and Dumber. Like, I don't even think
he knows Hackett better than anybody. He was with him in Green Bay.
Yeah, I know. Like, what? So he's gotten that experience. There's no reason
like
for him to go to New York.
Not a fan. I get it. It's definitely not the best Austin Powers. They're out of their mind for that one.
Yeah,
CeeLo is here. He's got updates for us.
Gold member.
I'm sorry, gold member.
Yes.
Goldfinger.
It was a playoff of Goldfinger.
That's the real Bond.
Yeah. Two factors here that could be factors. One, just with Adams and the Raiders, he and Max Crosby sort of spearheading the Antonio Pierce movement. So they were very much behind that. And you're right. You can make anything work salary cap wise, but I just took a peek. There's only 3 teams that currently have less cap space than the Jets. So, food for thought.
Yeah, that probably could be an issue, too.
The salary cap is a figment of all of our imagination.
It is. Sometimes with the trade in season, it's a little trickier than making it work in the off season.
But we've seen even on the in-season Hard Knocks, the one with the Giants, like it's like a holiday when they find out that the cap went up.
Right.
And they're like, maybe we should have signed Barkley. Whoops. Didn't know that.
Right.
Meanwhile, here come the Eagles. CeeLo, good morning.
Good morning. And we'll begin with a little baseball this morning as rookie sensation and National League All-Star Paul Skeens continues to dominate in the early going of his career.
That's 15 in a row sent down by Skeens, needing 34 pitches to get the last 11 outs. Here's a 1-0 to Frelick. Swinging a bouncer on to third. Hayes gloves, throw to first, got him. 7 no-hit innings for Paul Skeens.
That's Pirates Radio. That was the end of the line for the 22-year-old. 11 strikeouts across 99 pitches as manager Derek Shelton made the call to the bullpen, and afterwards Skeens was on board.
Wasn't going to be surprised either way if he sent me out or pulled me. I mean, we have Holderman and Chapman at the back end of our bullpen, so I think those are probably two of the best guys in the league.
Skeens courtesy of MLB Network, and those guys cleaned up a 1-0 win over the Brewers, so not exactly a big margin for error there for Pittsburgh. The rookie, impressive. He's now 6-0 across 11 starts with a 1.90 ERA. So 99 pitches, for a rookie, but he labored. I won't say labored, but they got the pitch count up on him early in the first 3 innings, so they felt like he was a little bit out of gas, which is why they didn't let him go any further.
Yeah. Baseball's a math problem. This is what Perloff and I were talking about. I just put a poll out on my own Twitter at Maggie Gray because we're want to save the show Twitter for all of our sitcom stuff.
Of course.
But should they've let him try to finish the no-hitter? I just think you're trying to apply a formula to keep these guys healthy when there's no rhyme or reason to this. You don't know, the Pirates don't know, the Yankees don't know, the Dodgers don't know. Nobody has perfected this. And clearly Skeens is a different type of breed. And he's got the All-Star break coming up. There's plenty of time to rest.
I mean, just the logistics of it, though. They would have to send him out for the 9th inning and prep the surgery table at the same time. There's a lot going on there. It's like, okay, he's going to come out there. He's like, do you mind if we just put that thing, the bag into your arm as you go out there? Because, basically, there's a surgeon washing his hands right behind the bullpen.
It'd be funny if, like, in the movie... the Leslie Nielsen movie,
Naked Gun,
where he's like the umpire, and instead the umpire is actually a surgeon, just ready to go.
There was a line the manager said. He said his body was not responding. I'm like, oh boy, we'll see you in 2027. Paul Skeens.
Oh my gosh, baseball parlance right now though is ridiculous.
Well,
he wasn't firing on his synapses.
Right.
Like a guy is like, he throws a pitch and they like sort of points to a part on his forearm. I'm like, okay, nice knowing you. See you in 5 years, dude.
Honestly,
it is horrible.
I blame your Ivy League brethren. You guys in your Ivy League and your Ivy Towers trying to tell everybody how to play baseball when they played it for 100 years and it was more popular than ever and everybody loved it. And ever since the nerds got a hold of it, what's happened? We're dipping in popularity. It's become a regionalized sport. It's just my issue in general. It's not a math problem. It's not 1 + 2 = 3 when you talk about sports.
You think it's the nerds' fault and not the fact that the sport is boring as heck?
It wasn't for 100 years.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? There's no way. With everything going on this day, the pace of baseball will never have played. That's the problem. But I'm watching the highlights on the TV behind us with Skeens throwing. I mean, it's not normal. There's just no way this can last. Look at, nobody can hit this thing because it's crazy the way he throws. It's so hard and there's so much movement that I just am really worried that this can't last.
Also, moving target here, pitched 107 innings against the Mets in the last outing. So clearly they're saying it's not like the pitch count is not the thing.
And and Derek Shelton did say that after. Everyone's fixated on the pitch count, but it was more about watching how the start progressed. And they actually, I guess, talked to him prior to the 7th and felt he was starting to tire a little bit. So
it's about spin rates and gyrations and all that stuff.
Yeah. Meantime, the Phillies with a statement sweep of the Dodgers as they took the finale 5-1. This was kind of funny. So here was Dodgers manager Dave Roberts after Game 2 of the series. I don't know if I played this yesterday. I had it queued up to play and never sure we got to it, but just to kind of compare after Game 2 against Philadelphia.
We know we stack up with those guys. They know that we stack up with them. Unfortunately, we haven't won 2 games, so I still think we had a pretty good ball club.
All right, so we got that. Then they go out and lose on Thursday, and then here was Roberts after that game.
They're clearly playing a lot better baseball than we are. They're clearly a better team than we are right now. We really didn't do much well this series.
So he did give you the right now, and we understand in the first clip he's probably talking more big picture. So we'll see what happens if they should meet in October. But for now, Philadelphia has obviously got the bragging rights as well as the best record in baseball. To the NBA, where the Sixers continue to build a veteran team, or in this case, bringing back a veteran who finished this past season with them, and that is 38-year-old Kyle Lowry, staying with his hometown team on a one-year deal. The Kings announced...
By the way, did you see our former boss made it into the
So
hype
psyched.
video of that?
So psyched about that.
Spike Eskin, host of the Rights of Ricky Sanchez podcast, say the name. He got into the Kyle Lowry "I'm Coming Home" video.
Well, it was
Make sure
amazing
to point that out on Twitter.
That's the only reason I knew. There was no shot. I was clicking on a Kyle Lowry. Welcome back to Philly. By the way, if I was Lowry, to be honest, I'm kind of, I'm probably offended. Everyone from Villanova is teaming up in New York, and they're like, no, thanks. We're good.
I thought you meant that Spike was in the video.
No. I'm saying if all my college, well, they weren't exactly teammates because Lowry's older, but like if everyone from my college all got together for some big reunion on the Knicks, and then he's like, hey guys, can I join? They're like, no, sorry.
Got to draw the line somewhere.
Wait, did he want to go to the Knicks?
I don't know.
They were talking about it because
now or when he got bought out, right? Before he joined Philadelphia?
Yes.
Yeah.
The funny thing about the Spike Eskin being in the video, our boss, Spike Eskin, he was in the crowd cheering. Like, that dude does not like to go to the stadium. So I was like, how did they catch that? It's like
they were ringing the bell.
It's the one day they were ringing the bell. Oh, I was like, what is Spike doing there? Yeah, I was like, Spike's not. I thought they were going to do a clip from him in his living room doing the podcast.
Yeah. Spike does a podcast?
Have you heard of it?
All our friends are in the Receiver documentary for Netflix. Like, you've been in a lot of, like, it's a thing to get, one thing to get in a hype video. Like, I think it's a badge of honor in the media now to be in one of these behind the scenes, like Hard Knocks or Netflix Receiver, because I'm listening, I'm like, oh, I know that voice. Oh, I know that voice. It's all the guests we have on the show. Why are we getting into these documentaries? Why aren't we on Hard Knocks?
Speak for yourself. I was in the Johnny Manziel doc.
Yes. No. I'm saying, like, the recent ones, like, they play a clip from a radio show. It's so much fun.
Oh, well, it's usually ripping the person or something. Oh. They use it as a way to move the plot along.
Yeah. Basically, Peter Schrager is a narrator of the Receiver. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool, though.
Maggie, you brought up the Knicks. So beginning today, Jalen Brunson is eligible to sign a 4-year max extension worth $156.5 million. If he waits until free agency next summer, he could go 5 for $270. It's sounding more and more like he's going to take this first option, which would help the Knicks out in the short term, at least with their cap cause. And our pal Boomer Esiason down the hallway here, WFAN Radio New York, just a few minutes ago during their show open this morning, said he expects Brunson to sign this four-year extension today. So something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, this is Boomer Esiason.
He always drops the little.
Usually when he drops the nugget,
pay attention.
The crumbs, he's getting that from somewhere.
A couple of fun ones from Jalen Brunson recently on his X account. Bury me at Los Tacos, Lord have mercy. Cosign. And then just butt dialed Tibbs while having a conversation with the fellas. Yeah, it's over, y'all. It's been real. I can't imagine.
That would be great.
I mean, there are worse people to butt dial when you're having a bad conversation or a private conversation with your friends. I mean, your girlfriend, your mom,
wife.
Yeah, mom. Yeah, wife. Like basically any woman in your life. But coaches probably makes the top 5.
Just picture him with this scowl on his face, rolling his eyes. These guys, what are they talking about?
Yeah, that guy's got zero sense of humor.
Yeah, exactly.
Running drills.
Yeah, right. It's going to add to their conditioning when they get back for training camp. WNBA, the Liberty pulled away from the Sky 91-76. They improved to 19-4. In the loss, Angel Reese did extend her double-double streak to a record 15 games, 10 points, 10 rebounds, and she had 5 boards in the fourth quarter to get it done. So these last 2 games, it's been right on the edge, but she did get to the numbers yesterday to keep that streak going.
Well, and then they got blown out.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then, unfortunately, ending on a sad note, you had longtime NFL defensive coordinator Monty Kiffin, who passed away at the age of 84. More than 50 years in coaching, 25 in the NFL, 13 with the Bucs, building that vaunted Tampa 2 scheme, which helped the Bucs win Super Bowl 37.
CeeLo, thank you so much. Coming up, someone has a good suggestion for LeBron James. We'll get to that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Every single day on Maggie Perloff show, there's someone in the chat who steals the show. He sings along, he cracks us up all day. We call him Wronger, but he's always right, okay. Oh, Wronger, our witty friend from the start until the end. In the comments, you're a sight, cheering us on, wrong or right. 30 years married, that's a long, long ride. With the Pacers and the Colts, he's got his pride. Running a pawn shop, wheeling, dealing gold. Wrong, he's got the best tales ever told. Wronger, our witty friend from the start until the end. In the comments, you're a sight, cheering us on, wrong or right. So here's to the laughs, the jokes, the memes. Wronger, you're more fun than a pint of ice cream. For every view, every like, every funny note, we thank you, dear Wronger, the laughter you promote.
One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Perloff, you can vote on our poll. It's on my Twitter handle.
Yeah. That's history. I tend to put some things on my own Twitter handle because I think it gives me an advantage because I hope that people follow me, think like me. I think you could put this.
I'll put this on ours.
Yeah, I think you're going to win this poll. The question is, wait, Paul Skeens?
Yes. How I phrased it, should the Pirates have let Skeens try to finish the no-hitter?
Yeah, you're going to win that one 80-20.
Winning right now 66-34.
Right. But the reality is, aren't you worried about Skeens just like I am? Just like you were worried about every great phenom pitcher that comes along? You think that baseball should just relax and throw them out there like the old times because it's not, they are protecting pitchers and they're still getting hurt. That's a good argument. But Skeens throws it crazy. I mean, the ball's coming in so fast and moving all over the place. I feel like they really have to protect this young man.
Yeah, I just think that it's a fool's errand to try to figure out and try to apply a one-size-fits-all thing, And it's funny because, like, the most famous, maybe not the most, but one of the most famous examples was, like, Steven Strasburg, with the Nationals. And they did eventually end up winning a World Series, but, years later. I mean...
Like 4 years later.
No, it was longer.
What year did Strasburg come out? I feel like he was still very young. He's still young, by the way. He's one of those guys you think is older. You're probably right, but it did work.
But... Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just think that you're trying to do this exact science on something that doesn't. You just can't have a science on this.
You're right. He came out in round 2010 and won in 2019 for Strasburg. Strasburg, by the way, is a funny case. He's a guy who stayed healthy, clear Hall of Famer, but just...
Okay, but this is the thing. All those innings limits and the restrictions, it didn't do anything to ultimately keep him healthy. Like, they did not get their money's worth out of him unless you want to just say 2019.
3 All-Star appearances. He has a ton of strikeouts. Like, he did a lot there. I mean, look at his career. It was actually better than I think people think, but it's hard. I understand... At least I understand what they're doing. Like, does seem like a problem. You will admit there is a problem keeping pitchers healthy. Look at your Mets. I mean, they've had so many star pitchers who've gotten hurt.
But it's just like everyone else. And again, I think you got to go by the guy. And again, I'll say this. I don't think having him pitch 20 more pitches was not going to be the difference between Tommy John and not Tommy John. That's where, listen, if he's getting fatigued and you feel like his form is starting to, suffer and, he can open himself to a different injury that way because he's compensating. But that's not what they were saying. They were just basically saying he got tired and his velocity was dipping.
Oh my, yeah. I'm so scared of pitcher injuries.
Yeah.
Like his velocity dipped 2 miles an hour. I'm like, uh-oh. Just prep the OR. Here he comes.
Okay. So here's you're welcome to weigh in, by the way, on Paul Skeens, 855-212-4227. This was an interesting one as we're talking about LeBron James, Perloff, because we always do. And Kevin Garnett had a really interesting take. He was on X watching Team USA in the exhibition win over Canada on Wednesday night. And Kevin Garnett just tweeted out, Lord, Bron could play 10 more years in a Draymond role. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Like the Draymond role, what he means by that is just being a facilitator, right? Being more of like the point forward, not as worried or concerned about scoring, just setting up other teammates and kind of being that guy. I don't know if LeBron would ever do something like that.
Well, it's interesting. So Draymond in the Warriors offense stands at the top of the key and just distributes. And LeBron, it felt like, I didn't see the whole game, but I've seen some clips where LeBron was sort of standing at the top of the key and telling everyone where to go. Like
Feeding
kind of
Curry.
Kind of a coach on the floor.
Yeah.
I love it. I think LeBron would be great at that. The big question, as you were referring to, is his ego. Can he handle being a role player, scoring 10 points a game? I feel like he's getting a little chunkier like Draymond. He's getting bigger. He's sort of becoming more like, do you remember when Magic Johnson came back and he basically was a power forward? I feel like LeBron, as he slows down, is not going to be able to guard guards, so he's going to have to move into the front court. And this kind of makes some sense. He's 40 now. He could play to 45 in the Draymond role and probably win a title.
With who?
Well, that's the question. I don't know that
With the
answer.
Lakers?
Nah, not necessarily. But if he's going to play to 45, he could be on 3 other teams in the next 5 years. He's got a 2-year deal now. So if he found the right spot where he could be a distributor, I saw this. He was mic'd up. He's telling everyone where to go. He sees the whole. I mean, his vision is his superpower in some ways. He sees the court better than anyone. So he seems perfectly fit for this role.
If he would be able to do that again, like take a backseat role in terms of scoring. He's already got the scoring title Maybe that helps. But not only are you right, could he probably play for another 5 years? Maybe he plays with Bryce. Does he play with the other son?
Well, now you're getting into a different issue because if he's going to do this Draymond role, it's got to be all about a ring. Like there's no reason to do it. Yes, that'd be cool to play with Bryce, but that's not being a Draymond role. That's just being a symbolic, fun exhibition team.
Or just like a compiler is, what you kind of are. Are you at that point just someone who just can't let it go?
But I think KG is referring to LeBron as a piece that makes a team. A talented team around him better and wins the title. I think KG is sort of referring to that. Imagine if him and Curry went to Golden State, for example, or went to one of these young powerhouses like Oklahoma City. Can you imagine him in Oklahoma City sort of running the show to all that talent around him? That'd be very effective. I don't know if I agree with you. Your first hunch that maybe LeBron can't do that.
I don't think so. I think that first of all, I don't think he thinks of himself that way. We're talking about LeBron as Team USA, and he might be, I don't know if he's going to be the leading scorer, but he's going to be logging tons of minutes, I'm sure.
I don't know. I mean,
you don't think so?
Well, I mean,
or he's going to be a huge focal point. Let's not get down in the details.
I actually no, I don't think so. I think he's going to. I think that KG saw him playing. He's like, oh, he's sharing the wealth. LeBron is, I think, going to be very much a team player here.
Okay, well, that's also on an all-star team. So if it was a different role, and he's on Oklahoma City, I just don't know if I see that.
Well, remember, he came into the league and he was a pass-first player.
He got criticized for it.
It wouldn't be ironic if he left the league as a pass-first player. He does have that in him. Like, he's not a guy who really ever cared about scoring. I don't think. He's...
It's ironic because he got the scoring title.
Yeah, it is kind of a badge of honor there. But I don't think he's obsessed with scoring. I mean, scoring 9 points a game might be tough for him, but I see it too. Also, the only problem is Draymond is also a great defensive player. LeBron has been a great defensive player his whole career. Could he be that kind of player? He could be a Draymond on defense? I don't know.
Well, and also Draymond's kind of a goon.
Well,
great defender, obviously.
But I think LeBron's going to get slower and older and a little bigger. Like, he's going to have to be physical. Yeah, he's going to have to be a bit of a goon on defense.
I don't know. I don't think that's him, though. That's so Draymond.
But if you want to cover a power forward or center, you got to be physical. That's the point. Like, because LeBron going to go down there and bang with Karl Anthony Towns?
I don't see it. But by the way, did you see Draymond was at the ESPYs last night? ESPYs were on last night.
No, Draymond was there? I didn't see that.
Yeah, I don't think he got an award or anything. I tuned in and I must have missed all the funny stuff and like all the current athlete things. I'm tuned in at a point where it started late because of the Biden press conference, the NATO press conference. And so it started late on the East Coast. And I tuned in right when they're doing the Special Olympics montage. So tears, you can't, there's such inspiring stories. Like there's no way you're a dry eye. Then they go right into a lot of the, V Foundation, Jim Valvano stuff and giving this award to Dawn Staley. So more tears there. And then they go into Nick Saban giving this big speech. I'm like, this is like killing me. And my heart feels like it's been put through the ringer. Like this was all 45 straight minutes of just yes, very extremely inspirational, but I was like worn out after watching it. I'm like, this is so much. There was like, where's the comedy?
God, it's a badge of honor. I've never seen 1 second of the ESPYs.
Get out of here.
Literally, I've never tuned it on. I've seen clips before.
I've
seen
like
Jamie Foxx.
Was hosting?
I would never, but because they call it an award show, it's not an award show, right?
Well, they do give out awards.
Yeah, but there's not but they give an award because the guy decided to show up. Like Ken Griffey would win best newcomer of the year because he booked a plane ticket. Like it wasn't, in a sense, it wasn't like the AP MVP.
Well, I mean, newsflash, a lot of awards are that way. Maybe not the Oscars, but that's...
Right. But that's the thing. If the Oscars was not fixed, which I know you think it is, but regardless, there's no, it's not a real award. There's not a bunch of voters saying, I wonder who really had the best play in the in the NBA this year. It's just okay, Anthony Davis is here. Let's give it to him. Right? Isn't that how the ESPYs work?
Probably. But there's it was just I tuned in for a part that was they really stacked.
Yeah.
As far as run of show
Steve Gleason
goes.
was there, for God's sake.
I know, and I had to go to sleep before that, or else I probably would have not been able to even make it to work today. I would have been so wrung out.
No,
It's all so emotional.
It is admirable, but man, it doesn't sound like the way you describe it. There is anything less watchable on TV. Why did you flip on Netflix? Go back to Receiver.
I eventually did go to Receiver, and I fell asleep to Receiver.
Well, the thing about Receiver is, I think it's dangerous for you because you can just hit the next episode and stay up late.
I mean, it's like I'm like a goose. It's like just inject my goose liver with more.
I feel like I'm part of Justin Jefferson's family. I want to be. They're the nicest people that ever lived.
I know. I watched the episode last night where he pulls his hamstring. Sad for him. All right, coming up, sitcom bracket, final region revealed next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
We have never angered a group of people faster than we have with this sitcom bracket.
That's
We're
right.
attempting to try to find the greatest sitcom of all time. We need your help, and everyone's mad. Welcome to the show, Maggie Perloff.
Yeah, it's amazing. People are really connected to their TV shows, which is not a surprise. I'm mad. I'm mad all the time. Every time I look at this bracket, I'm like, how can this team... I'm also mad, too, the matchups. Like, you have to realize it's much like the NCAA tournament. If you get the wrong draw, you were totally screwed.
No, it's just funny that you're mad when you helped create all of this.
Well, yes, but what happened was, I did help create it, but then the matchups... Like, it was too hard to read the spreadsheet. And there was some randomness about who went against who. Like, we just sort of assigned the seeds. That's one thing. Then then I didn't realize how it was going to all fall apart. But I'll tell you, I'm excited about this bracket because one of my favorite shows has a great chance to do a Cinderella run.
Okay, well, without further ado, this is the final region of the Maggie and Perloff sitcom bracket. This is the fourth region. It is the MASH region. MASH is the number one seed in this region. We're going to do the top half of the bracket right now. We'll do the bottom half of this region around 8:20 Eastern time. So let's kick it off. As I said, the number one seed in the MASH region is obviously MASH. Here is a clip. Hawkeye doesn't want to shoot his weapon in a conflict.
The reason they're shooting is that they're angry. If I shoot back, they'll just get angrier.
Pierce, you've got a good sense of humor, but a lousy sense of timing. Fire that weapon.
Fire it? I don't even like looking at it.
I said fire that weapon.
All right. You're fired. Did it as gently as I could.
That was an order, Pierce.
Oh, waiter, would you take this man's order, please?
Wow. Lots of jokes. MASH, obviously, one of the all-times. That's why it's a 1 seed, goes up against the 16 seed in this region. This one's for you, Pete. It's Alf. Alf explains the importance of history books on his planet.
Why is it bad luck to burn a history book?
Because Melmacians have a great respect for books. If you destroy a history book, you cheat future generations out of knowledge of the past.
That's rather deep for a planet whose motto was, "Are you going to finish that sandwich?"
There you go. Okay, the 8-9 matchup in this MASH region.
I'm so happy Alf's in here, by the way. I might vote for Alf just to open it.
Yeah, wasn't it like some kind of like a drug-induced fever dream from the guy who
there's a
created
movie
it?
about the guy who wrote it.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller plays him. Was a huge drug addict who's like, let's do this puppet and see if we can sell it to the networks. And they did. It's a crazy show.
You know, now that I'm listening to Alf, he sounds like somebody in radio that I can't put my finger on.
I just Googled it. It's not very famous. The guy's name is Paul Fusco, who voiced him. I don't know him.
Well, hopefully he's doing all right.
No, yeah. The voicing was great. Alf was cute.
That's my wheelhouse. Me and Pete are the same age, so that's us.
Really?
The 8th seed in this MASH region in Maggie Perloff sitcom bracket is Everybody Loves Raymond. Here is Ray accidentally taped Super Bowl 25 over his wedding tape.
You taped football over my wedding!
All right,
what
please.
did you do, Ray? What the hell did you do?
No. Come on, don't get excited. Oh, wait.
What?
Look
It's
at that.
football! It's still football, Ray!
Yeah, but it's the Bills Giants Super Bowl.
I don't care. You didn't do it. Oh, my God! Look at this! My God, it's the whole thing, Ray!
The kids must have done that.
Right. Oh, yeah, the kids taped football.
Yeah.
That's actually hysterical, by the way.
Honestly, could have done without that clip.
Everybody Loves Raymond should be higher than an 8 seed. I've been looking at this. because I'm very mad about this 8-9 matchup. But please go ahead.
All right. Well, I mean, Super Bowl 25. Don't think that I didn't understand that dig right at me.
That's all EJ's fault.
Bills Giants. Thank you. One of the worst moments of my life as a sports fan. The 9 seed, I don't want to talk about it. The 9 seed in this region, one I will definitely be voting for now, is Parks and Recreation. Here's Leslie Knope and Ron discussing the role of capitalism and government over breakfast.
Do you need to go to the dentist, Ron?
I don't like dentists. Just a second.
Hey.
Oh, no.
No. No.
What the? Oh, my God. I'm sorry, everybody. What were we talking about? Recycling? Dentist pulled the tooth out yesterday. But it's always a good idea to demonstrate to your coworkers that you are capable of withstanding a tremendous amount of pain.
The best.
That was obviously not the role of capitalism over breakfast, but that him pulling out his own tooth.
Ron Swanson, great American character.
Fantastic. All right, the 5th
Great
seed
American.
in this
Great
region.
American.
We're in the MASH region here. The 5th seed is Good Times. Here's JJ celebrates turning 18.
Here I am. 18 today, happy, bright, narrow man, and pure dynamite!
But the good thing you're 18, now you can be a fool legally.
Since today is such a joyous occasion, I'll ignore that insult that slipped through your 5 and dime lipstick.
Okay. The 5th seed, Good Times, goes up against the 12th seed in this region. That is Roseanne. Roseanne is upset she can't fit into her pants again, and Dan tries to be supportive.
What's the matter with you?
Pants shrank.
How dare they?
I guess they didn't shrink. I just grew.
I think we've grown together.
We gotta go on a diet.
What's this wee jazz? My pants fit fine.
There you go. Okay, and this is the final one we'll reveal. This is the top half of the MASH region, the Maggie Perloff sitcom bracket. We get it. This one is not aged very well, but it felt like it would have been odd to leave it off, so we did include The Cosby Show as the 4 seed. Here's Cliff explains to Theo why there isn't a summer vacation from school.
A vacation, son, is something you get when you have a job. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you didn't work hard this summer, because you did work hard. I've never seen anyone work harder at begging. Begging for money for pizza, begging to stay up late to chase little girls who didn't love you.
Okay, the 13 seed going up against the Cosby Show. EJ, what are you doing? Is Abbott Elementary. Here is a clip. The teachers fight over courtside seats to the 76ers game.
I have the most important job in this school. I set the tone for the rest of their academic careers.
Okay, I think that most important is a little bit extreme.
Okay, let's take a deep breath before we say something we don't mean.
Oh, shut up, haircut.
Oh, I ain't teaching kindergarten the most important, Barb. All you do is teach 5-year-olds how to use safety scissors.
And maybe if your kindergarten teacher had done a better job, you would know that use is not plural for you.
There you go. So that's the top half of the MASH region. Again, MASH versus ALF, the 116.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody Loves Raymond goes up against Parks and Rec as the 8-9 matchup. Good Times against Roseanne, and Cosby Show against Abbott Elementary.
This is by far the weakest bracket. I feel like the low seeds, Everybody Loves Raymond, Parks and Rec winner is coming out of this little region here because we have learned something that nobody's voting for the old shows.
Well, maybe MASH is an exception. 11 seasons, 275 episodes. The finale was, huge.
I feel like Everybody Loves Raymond and Parks and Rec have a great angle here. Everybody Loves Raymond is funny. Ray Romano's stand-up, by the way, he's now an actor.
Yeah.
Oh, his stand-up was gold back in the day. It's funny. What's the tall guy's name? Brad Garrett? He's pretty funny, too. Yeah. I think I'm looking back on that show. I know it's wildly, wildly profitable in syndication. I think that is just a little low at 8. That would be my criticism. The old shows are struggling here. So if you're a Good Times fan, you better get on the internet and go to Maggie and Pearl. It's not going to do well otherwise.
I was going to say, yeah, you can go to @Maggie and Pearl on X. You can vote because Good Times, we were just talking about it behind the scenes here before we went on the air. 6 seasons, 133 episodes, but just how many spinoffs also came off of Good Times, right? Excuse me,
Good Times
Maude was the original, and Good Times is the spinoff of that, right?
All in the Family, Maude was a spinoff of All in the Family. Jeffersons was a spinoff of All in the Family. And Pete informed me that Good Times is a spinoff of a Maude. So
apparently,
the Good Times crew was never in All in the Family?
I'm not sure. I have to go back and look. But from what I read, it was Maude to Good Times.
Yeah, and it's like a coaching tree here. Yeah, like there's certain trees, like Happy Days, like 1,000 shows came out of Happy Days.
Well,
obviously,
it's really the Norman Lear tree.
Yeah,
right?
Norman Lear. Well, there's Norman Lear and the Mary Tyler Moore trees are huge because what's it called? MTM Productions. That was gigantic. Right. All these shows came out of there. So there were two kinds of shows. But Happy Days also has a million spinoffs. I don't know. Do we credit a show for spinoffs?
Maybe. I mean, it's up to the audience who they want to vote for.
It goes under Impact.
Yeah.
That's true. Legacy.
Yeah.
Norman Lear, All in the Family, Maude, Sanford and Son, One Day at a Time, The Jeffersons, and Good Times.
Yeah,
Just to
he's
name a few.
A powerhouse. Is he still alive?
He passed away December 2023.
Okay, and he was quite old, right? I remember
he was 101.
Yeah, the Superstars paying tribute to Norman Lear really changed the industry. But that being said, we are noticing in the voting that the older shows are not resonating, which is, I get it. I mean, like, people watched Everybody Loves Raymond. They didn't necessarily see All in the Family.
That's true. And to be honest, we did include The Cosby Show because there were some other problematic people and characters who are in other shows, and it was going to be a little hard to kind of do whack-a-mole like that. We did include it, but I think Abbott Elementary is going to sweep the floor just because of, Bill Cosby's fall from grace here.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'll tell you, I think you guys might have missed when The Cosby Show came out. That was like the number one show by 50 miles. Like you had to watch it. It was so darn funny.
It's just not I don't see it at all in
syndication.
They
pulled it from
syndication.
Right?
Right?
Yeah, because it not only it's named after him. Like it is Bill Cosby. It basically took his HBO stand-up. We would watch his HBO stand-up as kids because it was family friendly. That was the first stand-up I ever fell in love with. It's weird. I mean, you try to separate the art from the artist. This one, it's almost too far.
No, can't. 855-212-4227. Okay, so there you go. This is the top half. We're going to tweet out now the bracket so you can see what's happening. This is going to be the final reveal, the final region, and then y'all can vote, and we'll see who all moves on to the round of 32.
Let's go, Alf.
Who does Alf sound like?
Mike McCann.
The update guy?
Yeah.
Who's Mike McCann? Mike McCann, the legal expert for Sportico?
That'd be interesting.
He actually does sound a little bit like Mike McCann. Mike McCann, our friend, has a very distinctive voice.
He does. It's a brilliant guy. Let's hear a little. Can I just hear Alf's voice again? Is this Mike McCann?
Because Melmacians have a great respect for books. If you destroy a history book, you cheat future generations out of knowledge of the past.
Possibly.
There's somebody else in there who's like a current sports talk radio person.
I hate to say it sounds like your former partner Moose a little bit.
Is it Moose? I think he's a little...
Pete, you hear a little Moose there?
A little Moose's?
If you destroy a history book...
No,
that's not Moose.
No.
That's not Moose. I think I gotta... this is going to drive me nuts, but I'll put my finger on it.
I got my people crossed up. I think Mike McCann sounds like the Frosted Flakes Tony the Tire guy.
Yes. And Mike McCann could do They're Great. And he would make $1 million.
Right. This, I got to figure out.
This is somebody. I don't even know who the actual voice was about, but anyway.
Might be a good idea to talk about people the public knows that we're...
No, it is somebody, a host, a sports radio host.
Yeah. It sounds like my friend Bill.
No, it's not going to be that. 855-212-4227 at Maggie and Pearl on X. You can go vote. Coming up, lots more to do. We are breaking down the AFC North today as we continue to look at every single NFL division before training camp starts next week. So don't move. Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Someone in the chat.
This recording as a living testament and recollection of history in the making during our generation.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho. Face to the OP. I used to move snowflakes by the OC. I guess even back then you could call me.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Hav. H to the OV. I used to move snowflakes by the OZ. I guess even back then you can call me CEO of the ROC. Hovey, fresh out the frying pan into the fire. I be the music biz #1 supplier flyer than a piece of paper bearing my name. Got the hottest chick in the game wearing my chain, that's right. Hov, not Doc, but similar to them letters, no one can do it better. I check cheddar like a food inspector. My homie Strick told me, dude, finish your breakfast. So that's what I'm going to do. Take you back to the dude with the Lexus, fast forward the jewels and the necklace. Let me tell you dudes what I do to protect this shoot at you actors like movie directors. This ain't an FBI. Oh, shit. Now, before I finish, let me just say, I did not come here to show out. Did not come here to impress you. Because to tell you the truth, when I leave here, I'm gone. And I don't care what you think about me, but just remember, when it hits the fan, brother, whether it's next year, 10 years, 20 years from now, you'll never be able to say that these brothers lied to you, Jack.
Maggie's got some giant feet, they're the talk of the town. When she walks the sidewalk cracks, she's bringing buildings down. She tried to buy some shoes, but they said no way. Now she's wearing boat sails just to get through the day. Maggie's giant feet, they're a real big deal. Stepping on boats, creating legs for real. Maggie's giant feet, they make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs, hey, it's all in good fun. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet made the music, folks yelled for more. At the beach she's a hit, making giant sand castles. Her footprint's so big, they're like dinosaur battles. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet made the music, folks yelled for more. At the beach she's a hit, making giant sand castles. Her footprint's so big, they're like dinosaur battles. Maggie's giant feet, they're a real big deal. Stepping on boats, creating legs for real. Maggie's giant feet, they make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs, hey, it's all in good fun. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. So here's to Maggie and her feet so brand. She's the funniest girl in all the land. I gotta tell you,
this one, Maggie, the AFC North is brutal.
Yep.
It is just brutal. I feel like I want to say something positive about all these teams, but you can't have 4 great teams. Somebody's got to lose these games. So I think it's going to be a real interesting one.
This is going to be a dynamite bracket. I'm so in the sitcoms thing. This is going to be a really dynamite division. But if I were to give you one prediction for this year, when it comes to the AFC North. I think this is finally the season when Tomlin's stellar record of never having a below 500 season finally comes to an end. I just do not believe in the quarterback situation here. I don't. And whether it's going to be Russ or whether it's going to be Justin Fields, whether they're just going to try to ignore the quarterback and just run the ball. Well, Najee Harris hasn't actually been what he's been, and you have Jaylen Warren behind him. But again, is that enough to, have an explosive run game that's going to have you get past the Ravens? I mean, look what the Ravens are doing. You've got not only Lamar, who can run at will if he wants to, but now you also added Derrick Henry. If he's anywhere close to what he was, that's going to be difficult. I think this is... this is going to be the moment when, and listen, it's been a great run of this incredible, feat for Tomlin. Some of these teams had no business being over 500. It almost seems like Tomlin willed it into existence. TJ Watt's 30 all of a sudden, guys. Cam Hayward's 35. According to Warren Sharp, they have the toughest schedule in the NFL. This is not going to be easy for Pittsburgh.
Show bet, because they just got to somehow they had Mason Rudolph finishing off the season and got to 9 and into the playoffs.
I feel better with Rudolph.
Honestly, as you said, the Ravens, they beat the Ravens were peaking last year. Peaking. They were by far the best team in the NFL. They beat them twice last year. You can apply all the logic you want. Mike Tomlin's going 9-8, Maggie. It's happening. You can think all your reasons are perfectly valid. None of it matters. They're going to have Arthur Smith is going to grind that game down to a halt. It's going to be so slow. The other team's going to lose just out of boredom. It is going to be amazing. TJ Watt's 30. TJ Watt basically beat anybody trying to block him one-on-one. Just give him the sack. He is unstoppable last season. He's going to hit a wall now. I think
he got hurt at the end of the season. If he's playing in that game, maybe it's a little bit closer against the Bills. Here's the thing. They added Patrick Queen. The defense is not my issue here. It's the offense.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll win every game 13-10, but
that's what they wanted. That's what Mike Tomlin dreams of. Win every game, win 9 games. That's the formula, Maggie. It's worked before. Why? What has changed? What's different? Last year, they were definitely worse than they are this year.
They traded away Deontay Johnson to the Carolina Panthers, and they have not replaced his productivity. So it's going to be George Pickens. He's the guy I want. I'm going to scrub my social media probably halfway into the season so I can tell everyone how ticked off I am that I'm not getting the ball.
I think they can find a guy to drop 7 passes next year.
Oh, gosh. They're just light on people.
There has never been a team that's had an easier time replacing receivers in the history. That's the one thing they can do. They can find receivers anywhere at any time. How many slot receivers are What are you talking about? They had Deontay Johnson replace Antonio Brown.
No, I'm saying this for this roster.
Yeah, but whoever's filling in there will be fine. That's how it works for the Steelers. You think they didn't, but they drafted somebody in the 4th round. It's Roman Wilson. I'm looking at the depth chart.
From Michigan.
Guess what? The Steelers nail the receiver position every single time. That's one thing that they've done forever.
I think this is it. This is the year the streak comes to an end, because you're telling me, just let's talk about the quarterback position. Not trying to oversimplify it, but you're telling me that Russell Wilson and Justin Fields poo-poo platter is going up against Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Deshaun Watson, or even Jameis, or even it doesn't even matter. I don't think who the Browns have. So I'm not feeling great for the Steelers keeping this particular streak alive. And you want to know what? I think a lot of Steelers fans are with me on this one. Just because we talk to a lot of Steeler fans, we're on in Steeler country, I think they're sick of the middle. And your team has no plan right now for quarterback. That has got to be a bit alarming.
I think they're psyched that both Fields and Wilson are last year. So right, they're not tied to any money.
Okay,
so
great. But you also have nobody. You whiffed with Kenny Pickett, and Kenny Pickett gets traded because he was upset that Russell Wilson was brought into the building, or whatever actually happened in Pittsburgh. You can't tell me you feel good just because the contracts are expiring when you are probably not going to be picking in the top 10. What are you going to do?
Well, you just said they are going to be picking the top 10.
Well, I guess maybe they'll be on the fringes of that.
Okay. All that makes sense. But last year, let me just give you some numbers here. Kenny Pickett threw for a hot 126 and beat the playoff-bound Green Bay Packers. They beat Baltimore twice. They whooped on Cleveland with Deshaun. They beat all these teams with nothing last year. Nothing.
When's the last time they won a playoff game?
I'm very well aware of that.
It's before my kid was born.
And when's the last time
He's
When's the last time they had a losing record?
Well, 17 years, right, with Tomlin.
Right. So they've definitely won.
But what does that get you?
I'm not arguing about whether they're going to be this franchise is headed towards the Super Bowl. I'm just arguing, why would they drop off now when they didn't drop off last year? Last year was the year to drop off.
I think they're just so middle of the road.
Yeah, totally. Exactly.
Hence 9-8.
I know, but I think it's
There
going
is
to be
no more
8-9.
500 anymore. And just to swing that, maybe.
Yeah.
They swept Cincinnati last year, and Burrow didn't play in either of those games.
Yeah,
So-
but by the way, guess what? Burrow has like weird body parts sticking. I saw him talking about his wrists the other day. Like those guys are going to get hurt anyway.
Yeah.
They can beat Lamar Jackson. They know Lamar Jackson really well. It's just
No, Burrow's got the secret weapon. It's called Beethoven, and it's called learning the piano is going to strengthen those ligaments.
The thing about the Steelers too, they'll pull an Angel Reese and they'll desperately try at the end of the season to get that record to extend for Mike Tomlin.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're like if they're 8-8, and it's between 8-9 and 9-8, they're going guns a blazing into that last game, Maggie, and you know it, and we both know it. So I think this is the debate: are the Steelers more likely to go 8-9 or 9-8? That's what we're talking about.
I said below 500. I didn't say how much below.
Well, no, I'm saying like if Tomlin sniffs above 500 at the end of the season, he is going to pull out every trick play known to man to get to that.
I'll
mark.
tell you what, they better stack these wins early.
Yeah, I see it too. I was just going to say.
What's the difference?
Because this is their bye week's week 9, week 10 at Washington. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's weeks 11 through 18.
Yeah.
Baltimore at Cleveland, at Cincinnati, Cleveland at Philly, at Baltimore, Kansas City, Cincinnati.
They'll beat all those teams. They do every year. They'll definitely, they will definitely.
They're beating the Chiefs. They're beating your Eagles.
The Chiefs are going to be playing for nothing at that
Chiefs
point,
on
and the
Christmas.
Bengals will probably be on a bye.
Christmas Day.
No, what's going to happen? The Bengals are going to be not playing their starters the last week, just like last year with the Ravens. Kansas City, who knows what shape they'll be in, but they win these games, Maggie. Tomlin wins those games. He always beats a Cleveland or a Cincinnati or a Baltimore. It's just how it works.
Wait, they're one of those 4 teams that has the crazy schedule of the 3 games in 10 days.
Yep.
They play the 15th against the Eagles, the 21st at Baltimore, and then the 25th at Kansas City.
The old Wednesday, 1 o'clock Christmas Day kick.
Oh,
NFL
boy.
tradition.
Yeah, Wednesday. Love it. Let's just play every single day of the week.
Man, I'm telling you, you count that team out at your own peril. Like you think they're going 6 and you're right. It could happen eventually,
8-9.
but they're
I said 8-9.
They're going to be a completely different style.
I said
But
under 500.
If they're 8-8, so they better be 7-9 because if they're 8-8 coming into that week 17, there is no way they're losing that game. Just no way. It's never going to happen.
Against the Bengals, you mean?
Oh yeah, can't you see them winning that?
Yeah, but here's the thing: the Bengals are also a late season team. When they are successful, when Joe Burrow is healthy, they're one of those teams that kind of like farts around a little bit in the beginning of the season. Terrible in the first month. Everyone's like, what's going on? And then they put it together in the second half.
Yeah, the Bengals are
iron sharpens iron there, or whatever.
Bengals are definitely not playing their starters that Week 18 game. Mike Tomlin extends a streak. By the way, who knows? Mahomes might be done by Week 17 too. In that
just what the NFL wants. Christmas Day, 1 o'clock. Chiefs are checked out. Mahomes
definitely. By the way, the Chiefs lost that game to the Raiders last year, so I'm telling you,
propelled them to the Super Bowl. If you ask them,
you guys are using way too much logic. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers here. Arthur Smith is going to have. He's going to call 74 run plays in that Christmas Day game. We're not even going to see Patrick Mahomes. Everyone's going to be like, this is the most boring game. Steelers win 17-13, and then we all unwrap presents.
Yeah, and then it's like, and so how did that do? It's like 150 million people watch that game.
Yeah, and by the way, I do think it's interesting about the Steelers. If Justin Fields is a quarterback, then you're never going to see a pass, and it is going to be run, first down, run, first down. TJ Watt murders the quarterback. Steelers win 17-12. 400 million people watch it. Yeah.
It was the all-time record.
I just previewed the entire Steelers season.
It broke MASH's record for the most watched finales. We're talking about football and also our sitcom bracket. Top half of it is live right now on our Twitter at Maggie and Pearl on X. Yes?
We got Andy in Pittsburgh wants to talk Steelers. I think he agrees with me.
Oh, yeah. Let's get Andy. But by the way, yes, go to X right now at Maggie and Pearl. You can vote on the top half of the sitcom bracket. What's up, Andy?
Hey, I think the Steelers are going to have a good year. I'm not a Steelers fan. I'm a Seahawk fan all my life. And watching Russell Wilson, I think he's going to put on a show like he's done before, especially when he was with the Seahawks as a third-round pick bench player when they had Matt Flynn signed to a 4-year deal to be a starter, and then he put on a show in training camp. And I think the same thing's going to happen again. Matt Flynn never played a snap. I think he's going to put on a show this year and everything. They're going to go 14-3. And I've had everybody up here ask me, what do you think Russell Wilson's going to do? I said, that's what he's going to do.
Andy, your optimism is probably making a lot of Steeler fans happy, but we are a long way from the Russell Wilson Seattle days. I know he had a better season last year, but the year before that was bad. I mean, maybe Nathaniel Hackett's the worst head coach in the history of football, as Sean Payton would have you believe. But I don't know if that Russ is coming back. That was an all-time accent, by the way. You say you can't hear a Philadelphia accent or Pennsylvania. That was it.
I don't know one who. I knew that's what excited you. I don't hear any Northeastern accents. You care more about Northeastern accents unless you're from the South or something. I just don't even. I barely notice it.
You don't hear a Boston accent?
Boston is an exception, but like
you don't hear a New York accent? Can I take you down the hall to talk about Vinny in Staten Island?
Yeah, but everybody in Philadelphia, Washington D.C., New York, it's all forget about it. Yeah, like you get that, but
Philly
is
South
different.
Jersey's
Show.
a little
it's
different.
Put on a show.
Yet he's somehow a lifelong Seahawks fan.
Yeah,
I didn't see that coming.
Do you think the average American will know like where that voice was from? I don't think so. People know if you're from the South or Texas, but I didn't hear anything there. Did you guys like?
Yeah,
definitely.
But you're talking about like one word here or one word there. Like, I hate to break this, like the Hawk Tour girl, that's an accent.
Russell Wilson, I think he's going to put on a show.
What are the
show? That's very Philly.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wait.
By the way, where'd the Hawk Tour girl go? Is she gone? That's it? The 15 minutes are over?
I don't know. I lost track.
Wait, that guy's from Philly? I thought we were doing a Pittsburgh accent that whole time.
Well, Pittsburgh is different. Pittsburgh is Pat McAfee. That his show, that sounds very Pittsburgh.
Where was he calling from?
From Pittsburgh, but he's clearly from Philly.
What?
Or Maryland. Yeah.
What about West
Virginia?
Virginia?
See, that's what I mean. Like, I think I don't know what you're talking about. That guy's not from Philly.
Pittsburgh accent is yins. Yins.
Can that guy call back? He's definitely not from Philly. That voice did not sound like Philly at all. I think he's from Pittsburgh.
And watching Russell Wilson, I think he's going to put on a show.
No. Pittsburgh is more about that.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Sounded more southern to me than it
Yeah,
did.
it does sound like he's from any of those places.
All right. Can you call Andy?
And why
ask
is he a
where he's from,
Seahawks fan too?
Yeah, that's the.
Were you wondering the same thing?
He's like, I'm actually a Seahawks fan my whole life, and I'm like, what?
Russell Wilson's gonna put on a show.
I bet it was a Jim Zorn thing.
Maybe.
Oh my God.
Where were we? Yeah, Hawk Tour girl. Where is she?
I don't know. I thought she was going to I mean, she was selling the merchandise. She did the big interview, and then I don't know. I'm not sure.
I mean,
let's Illuminati get her.
14:45 for 15 minutes of fame.
That's it. It's over.
Well, let her get back to her life. I mean,
why would she want to do that?
Yeah.
Her
what
life
was she?
got way better.
A librarian or something?
No,
she worked in a spring factory.
Yeah.
Like waking up at 2 a.m., working a weird shift.
this was an opportunity, I think, to improve her situation.
Oh.
Definitely.
Why did I think she was a librarian?
No.
I don't know.
That was one of those
That was a
fake
different
news
porno.
things. Also, not a teacher that was fired, because that was one of the other things that was rolling around out there.
I think the world needs more sexy librarians.
That's to say that was an Andrew Perloff fantasy coming
No,
through.
it's actually a comedian, Kristen Shaw. You guys know her. She's in a lot of TV shows. She does this huge sexy librarian bit where she's like doing the Dewey Decimal System. You have to see it there. I'll try and pull
the
it on the
glasses
internet.
on while she's doing it.
Yeah, see,
you
like
gotta
you
have
with
the
me, right?
glasses.
Oh, yeah. Sexy librarian.
It's funny because you guys are both wearing glasses.
Well, I mean, that's the prototypical librarian look. So
And it's
Hawk
those
Tour girl would need
black,
to throw
those
some
black
glasses on.
glasses.
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably like down the nose a little bit.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
The bridge of the
Right,
nose.
yeah.
A reading glass, if
Yep.
you will.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys seem intimately
Yeah,
familiar with the
play out the
genre.
A little
fantasy.
advanced with thinking all this
Yeah,
out.
you had a lot of specifics there.
Right.
Excuse me, do you have any books on physical education?
Oh boy. Let's stick with a little NFL. We're talking NFL. Also mentioned some quarterbacks.
Anatomy books.
Anatomy books. Here's Tyreek Hill on social media posting about his latest top 5 quarterback rankings heading into the 2024 season.
Top 5 quarterbacks in the league: Patrick, Tua, Lamar, Dak, Baker Mayfield.
First 3, pretty, but to go Dak and Mayfield 4 and 5, I thought was a little.
Dak makes sense. Dak was second MVP voting. That is not.
No, it's Baker. What
are you talking about? Dak is awesome.
All right, Dak is fine, but if you think about the names that were left off, like Josh Allen's not on the list, Joe Burrow's not on the list, Brock Purdy's not on the list, CJ Stroud's not on the list, Justin Herbert's not on the list, Jalen Hurts is not on the list.
Well, I have noticed.
Baker was an odd one.
Yeah. I thought 4 was okay. Like you could have fine. You have
Tua,
Dak in there somewhere.
Tua,
You understand why he's
say.
putting Tua in
and
there. Yeah.
Tua, is I can understand why guys like catching passes from Tua.
Sure.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield. Do you think Baker's probably got to be like honored to be on this list?
I would think so.
Of course. Well, the funny thing is,
But he's also getting roasted because people are like, what's Baker doing on? It's like, I can't just sort of live my life, Now I've got to have the whole world, internet, whatever, now just be clowning me because I don't belong.
Right, you're honored, but then you're dealing with the frustration of everyone's giving you the business.
I do think there's a thing where some players want to have 5 African-American quarterbacks, for example. Like C.J. Stroud went with Mahomes, Lamar, Prescott, and Jalen Hurts. And I think he even talked about it. But that's why I'm like, well, there's no reason to have Baker Mayfield on the list. Like, what is Baker Mayfield doing there? It's just so funny. And I tried to, do they have any connection anywhere?
Not that I'm aware of. Do
the
they?
only thing I was thinking, I'm like, if somehow the Dolphins, who would not want to get rid of Tyreek Hill, but if they ever did, maybe he just wants to go to Tampa because it's like close and stay in Florida.
Oh, that's interesting.
But like, that's just my weirdo brain. I don't think anyone's actually thinking about that.
Now I am. That's a great
Would
fit.
you rather go to Tampa with Mayfield or the Jags with Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson if you're Tyreek?
Definitely the Jags.
I don't know. I'm not so sure about that because I can't see Trevor Lawrence getting the ball to
Maybe
where
in
Tyreek Hill
the NFC,
wants
you
it.
feel like do you have a little easier path? Not really, actually. The NFC is that was last year's storyline that the NFC was like so inferior to the AFC.
Well, quarterback wise, I think the AFC is a little deeper.
Yeah, but
obviously
since
Mahomes
then,
and the Chiefs
now
are there.
Jordan Love has entered the conversation.
So you got but okay. So the Bucks signed Liam Cohen, former Rams guy. Todd Bowles is a problem, but that could be a good offense.
They made the playoffs last year, and they were in a really good game against
Baker
Detroit.
had a good year. He had a nice bounce back
They
year.
made
Beat your Eagles, though that probably had more to do with the Eagles.
Yeah, they win 9-0 over Carolina to get in, and
I bet that game it was adventure.
Right. Did they get blown out the week before by the Saints? Like, that was a weird team. But you got to get Todd Bowles out of there. That's interesting. Tyreek Hill, now you have me thinking. He said Mike McDaniel's on the hot seat. Hill's probably gone.
Well, Mike McDaniel being on the hot seat is ridiculous to me. This is why bad teams stay, or not the Dolphins are bad, but this is why weird teams stay weird.
Mediocrity?
Yeah, just because, like, what has Mike McDaniel done to be fired? You say, they didn't win the division. They blew it last year against the Bills in that final game of the season. They were at home. They should not have blown it. Well, Tua threw some picks. I don't know. Is that really Mike McDaniel? I guess they were not great against better competition, but I don't know. They were right there.
Wasn't it only the prior season, or is it 2 years ago now when they almost went into Buffalo, won that playoff game with
Skylar
game with Skylar Thompson? Yeah, I mean.
Well, they've
then they went to
spent
Kansas
a lot.
City, and it was -30. They were not winning that game.
Yeah,
and by the way, not a lot of other teams were winning that game either.
Well, they've spent a lot of money and not gotten any results. So, I mean, I don't think it's out of the question to move on from him. Like, what's the upside? Does anyone think the Dolphins are winning the Super Bowl as currently constituted? I'd be shocked if anyone picked them.
Okay, so are they bringing in Belichick? Like, what are you doing here? Who are you going with?
I do think you might need a more well-rounded coach.
Okay, well,
I think
Sean
that'd be the
McVay's
argument.
not walking through that door,
I don't know. Less to me about the coach and more about the quarterback's fine.
Also,
He's
Tyreek
okay.
Hill got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
Tyreek
see
Hill's
Tua
getting
ever
older.
winning a Super Bowl myself.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like they put together this sort of like dream team feel with all these big stars. They bring all these veterans on defense. It just doesn't feel like it's headed anywhere. They feel like we talk about the Steelers in limbo. The Dolphins are a bit of limbo where they make a bunch of wild cards.
Honestly, like if they just win that game against Buffalo, they're the 2 seed.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but they still probably go out really early in that.
I think they
AFC
probably
bracket.
would have beat Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but they beat Pittsburgh. Then who was next? I mean,
The Chiefs.
yeah, they were not going to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, was it 2? Yeah, whatever.
Pretty much everyone's got to go through
that
the
would have been
Chiefs
3
at some
seeds.
point.
Sorry.
Yeah, they might win. They're at a point where they might win a wild card game. I just don't see the upside. Maybe I'm underestimating them, but they feel like they're about 13th or 14th in odds. That's where they are. It's stuck in limbo.
Maggie, don't be sorry about getting confused about the Dolphins seed. Heck, the Chiefs put it on their Super Bowl ring and got it wrong.
That's right. It's on the ring.
Yeah. Can't undo that one.
I forgot about that.
Oh, man. That was funny. I guess it makes it unique. We got an error engraved into all these Super Bowl rings.
At least it was an error with something the Chiefs did.
Yeah.
It's the opponent.
Right.
But yeah, it was the wrong seed. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Oh, well.
The Chiefs. Anyway, what else we got?
I'll give you one other thing before I go.
Okay.
We talked yesterday about these the new media rights deals for the NBA, ESPN, ABC remaining, plus NBC and Amazon Prime, 11 years total, $76 billion. So TNT's got that right to match, but no one seems to be expecting that to happen. So what of Charles Barkley's future? We brought him up yesterday.
Yep.
He's been pretty adamant that this is it for him once Turner's out of the NBA business. So he was on CNBC this week, asked if a lot more money might entice him to jump networks and remain in broadcasting.
Hey, if I don't have enough money by now, I'm the biggest idiot fool in the world. And hey, seriously, if I don't have enough money by now, I've been so lucky and blessed. I played in the NBA for 15 years. I've been on television for 24 years. If I don't have enough money by now, I'm the biggest loser in the world.
Idiot and loser. If he doesn't have those bank accounts stacked by this point.
Or just a degenerate gambler, which I think he might be.
That's a fair point.
So here's why I never bought the Barkley retirement thing, because he needs to be on TV. Why in the world is he on CNBC in the middle of July?
He's on a lot of different networks all the time.
He's at the golf tournament, right?
Oh, is that what it was? The golf tournament?
But he does.
Okay.
But he makes a lot of appearances. He does podcasts. He does shows. He's all over the place. Yeah.
But he always says, I want to stop doing that. He's like, he almost says, lose my number to everybody except like dear friends. And then he does a million things.
Yeah.
He looks great, by the way. Did you guys see him?
I didn't see it.
You know, he kind of goes up and down a little bit in weight. He looks really healthy. I mean, he's been talking about retirement for a long, long time.
And what do you always say about the coaches?
Yeah.
Who, coaches, at least, or other people talk about retirement. They're the last ones to do it.
I did notice he's in a lot of commercials now, so he probably is doing pretty well money-wise.
No, but he says, like, he's made enough money. That was probably true the day he retired from the NBA.
Yeah.
But he's made enough money. But again, if you are a gambler, which he is very open about, that's a easy way to lose a lot of money fast.
I don't know that he's in huge gambling debts.
I don't know if he's in debt. I'm just saying he likes to gamble.
Needs a bankroll.
And that's an easy way to lose a lot of money quickly.
I don't know.
Because I don't think he's betting $10 a hole on the
I
golf
don't
course.
know. I think he's 61 now. He might have settled down and all that. I have no idea, but I don't think he's like,
It works like that.
I don't think
you can turn it off. If you're into gambling, I think you're into it like that. Like to his degree. He'll tell you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't think he wants to do this anymore. He probably will, but I don't think he wants to be a commentator anymore. Or this. I think it'd be more fun to do some other kind of show for him.
Well, maybe that's the
yeah,
avenue,
like a game
right?
show.
He still can be on television, but doesn't have to do the nightly studio show covering the NBA or when the NCAA tournament rolls around. The way he has been.
Game show would be perfect.
It doesn't have to be all or nothing. I mean, he could just get paid to parachute in for the finals.
Yeah.
Or whatever, the playoffs. He doesn't have to be like talking about, Bucks Heat on a Tuesday night in February.
Yeah. I mean, he comes on at halftime. He's like, I didn't even watch. That was so boring.
Yeah, he's like, I've been watching Blue Bloods. He's like, I'm watching NCIS. What happened? And everyone's like, we love you.
He's so tired of faking it during the NCAA tournament too. Even he's like, well, I think Alabama's going to get hot from outside, but I don't really care.
Must be nice to not pay attention and get paid all that money, right?
Definitely. CeeLo, thank you so much. Got a lot more to do, including we continue our breakdown of the AFC North today. One of my predictions for this division, the Steelers will finish below 500 for the first time in Tomlin's coaching career. What say you? 855-212-4227.
You're in a 5-minute break.
They're diehard Knicks fans.
Peter Berardi, he made a prediction, said that he gonna win. Celtics got no conviction, but now he's hiding, running away, won't own up to his words, can't face the dismay. He thought Miami would rise like the sun in the sky, but now he's got excuses, got no alibi. He thought the Heat had it, it was a sure bet, but they couldn't handle Boston, not just yet. Peter Peter Bellotti, where you at now? You made a bold choice, but where's your wow? Can't stand the heat in the kitchen. Your predictions cold. You're playing hide and seek, leaving us in the fold. Peter Bellotti's got something to say. Roasting Tom Brady, we took it too far. But Maggie don't care, she's a superstar. Said the kids need to learn to laugh at the pain, so we'll keep on joking, no need to explain. We may have crossed the line.
3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Heart of the game under the bright. In the heart of the game, under the bright lights, EJ stood ready, aiming for new heights. But fate took a turn on that somber play, left us all speechless, nothing to say. Chase me, oh, it has left us in the silence, the crowd's hush, dreams on hold. Cheers now freeze, hope fades out with a gentle breeze. Once danced on the field, now a quiet rest. Each stride a memory, we thought you the best. The journey's paused, the spirit feels heavy. Oh, how we miss you, strong and steady. Chase me, oh, it has left us in the silence, the crowd's hush, dreams on hold, the cheers now freeze, hope fades out with a gentle breeze. Can the stars align once more for you? Hear the whispers in the morning dew. Stand by you in highs and lows, waiting for the day you rise and glow. Chase me, all it has left us in the silence, the crowd's hush, dreams on hold, the cheers now freeze, hope fades out with a gentle breeze.
Got a question for you guys. Hey, welcome back to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. So, when a stranger is coming into your home, right? Like, obviously, like a babysitter or any kind of stranger, or maybe friends coming over or whatever. You know, I don't know if you guys are like me. All of a sudden, I have to like clean the house, right? Like, I don't see things that may be like, oh, it's a little bit of clutter or whatever until the urgency of a stranger or someone you don't know that well, or just any guest really outside of like immediate family, is coming to your home.
Yeah. My wife's like that too.
Right. And
I am not like that. And neither is any other man listening. Correct. But go ahead.
Okay, so this is not, because like I'm wondering, I started noticing things around my house yesterday as I'm cleaning up for a babysitter that's coming over. And I'm like, man, if she really started putting some pieces together, I would look like a gigantic weirdo because I have I had a couple books laying around that are about, you guys know I got a little into the JFK assassination, revisiting one of the big mile markers in the history of this country that I didn't know much about. And then our old boss, Spike Eskin, started sending me some literature about maybe some other situations that happened over the course of our history. Right. And if you just started looking around at the stuff in our house, it kind of looks like I'm a bit of a kook.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, though, you say looks like I'm a bit of a kook, implying that you're not a bit of a kook.
I don't need the babysitter to know that. I'm trying to hide this stuff.
I would have played into it. I would have got some bird cages and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, have like one of those beautiful mind boards.
Like a serial killer?
Like a serial killer like Charlie Day and Always Sunny, where it's connecting all these dots everywhere.
Like I'm solving a crime?
Yes.
The JFK assassination?
Yeah, you should have a board that's like...
yarn.
Just connecting dots.
That's right.
Yeah. There's nothing you guys don't think of, like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden, like, I didn't realize if this would be embarrassing if a stranger came over. No?
Yeah, I mean, when I was single, there were certainly things I wanted to hide.
Don't care anymore.
Yeah. No. My wife's like, oh my God.
Playboys.
Oh my God, so-and-so's coming over. I have to make it look like we're showing off the apartment to sell. I'm like, Jesus, nobody cares.
When I hear that, I go right to, I'm not going to go watch some TV. I'll see you later.
Yeah, you go vacuum. I'll be over here asleep.
So I'll be totally honest. My wife is a neat freak. Like, she does not can't be any clutter in the house.
You're so lucky to live with someone like that. Don't you realize?
Am I? I'm sitting there, we're trying to watch TV and the vacuum, lift your feet up.
I know. I promised myself, I'm like, man, when I'm like like middle-aged woman, I'm not going to vacuum while people are watching TV because I used to hate it when my mom used to do that when I was a kid. I do it all the time. I do it constantly. I can't help it. It's something in a woman's DNA. It's like the moment you turn 40, you start vacuuming when the TV is on.
I know a lot of men who vacuum too. There are a lot of men who are also neat freaks. This is not, trust me, it's not just you guys. I don't care if there's a little clutter in the room. It doesn't bother me. Some people it really does though, right?
Okay, this is Kaplan's in the chat. I'm the same way. When people are coming over, I have to make the place look like no one lives there.
Yeah. No, I don't think this is totally just a man-woman thing. There are a lot of men.
That men don't do this.
Yeah. Well,
you're kidding.
I do it at night.
Clean at night.
I clean like.
Well, you have kids, so they make a mess all day, and then you clean it up.
Kitchen, the dishes, all that at night.
Yeah,
but during the day, I need to have my peace.
Is there anything you guys do that really annoys your spouse?
About cleaning?
About like cleaning or related. I have one. For example, I always put the clothes on top of the hamper. I don't know why I do it. Instead of opening the hamper and putting them in, I'll just throw the shirt on top of the hamper.
Did you and my husband have a conversation about like just how to do this? Or my husband will have the clothes like right next to it on the floor.
I'll do that too.
Did you do the Kobe thing and just miss? Like pick it up.
Part of it is if, say I went running and the shirt's all sweaty, I don't want to throw a sweaty shirt in there with all the clean clothes, so I'll just put it on top so it'll dry out. So I actually have a reason.
Yeah, but it's going in with the dirty stuff. What does it matter if it all jumbles together?
Because that sweaty smell will build into those things. It makes it harder. Like you put in a basic t-shirt, like that sweat might not even go away. Like, I don't know. It's just like, let it dry out on top so you don't have like a disgusting wet pile of clothes. I do think that's a real thing. Like, just put it on top of the thing so it dries on its own. And by the time you put it in, it's no problem. But my wife does, well, I shouldn't say this. I'm going to. People in my family do a thing that drives me nuts. I've talked about it a lot. If you're going to use the Brita and it's empty and you put an empty Brita back in the fridge, I get really mad.
There should be jail time for that.
I think that's actually
society.
My wife has never done that. My kids do that. They finish the Brita and just put the empty Brita back, the water filter thing, back into the fridge.
Because kids can't see outside themselves yet. Like the concept of other people don't really apply to kids. You know, they're only about themselves. It's like their brains aren't fully developed in that aspect yet.
And some men are like that.
Sometimes when I run out the door, I will leave an empty box in the cabinet just because I'm grabbing something and I go.
Yeah.
And then I'll get the talk. She'll talk to me at the end of the day, like she's talking to my son.
Oh no!
Oh yeah!
You know, it's funny. This must be a guy thing. Like my husband will put back the chips when there's just like dust and powder, and I'm like, you're really gonna?
Oh, that's a good one.
You're gonna get the last little bit of tortilla chip down there? No way.
My grandmother grew up in the Depression, and like there'd be like 3 baked beans left, and she put it in a container and save it for tomorrow. It's like I get it.
I know groceries are expensive. It's not that bad.
Yeah, I mean,
you can put the pita chips. It's over. Just put them out of their misery. They're done.
There's nothing worse. Like, oh man, I could really use some crackers now. And you go in and there's like 2 little bits of a half a cracker. That happens to be all cereal too. Cereal, the dust at the bottom.
Ooh,
like,
Sorry, this is interesting from Cap. He said Brita's a fraud. Doesn't do anything. Do you think it's actually filtering your water? That's a whole other conversation.
Wait, what?
Delta says Brita's for chumps. 0 water filter.
Are you serious?
I didn't think that people thought Brita was a scam.
I've never heard this.
I hope not, because I've been drinking a lot of bad stuff.
But the other
I've been
thing
really
too
relying on the Brita.
I will be. If you change your Brita filter once every 6.5 years, which I'm like, what is that? Actually, a plant growing out of the charcoal part of my Brita?
Might as well drink pond water.
You basically
probably the
are.
opposite. It's like the opposite of healthy water. It's like how to make your water unhealthy. Brita. Knock them off the list of sponsors, by the way. Thank you, Cap.
To do some research. It's a total scam. Oh, no. Hey, Phil Steele's going to join us next to talk college football.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining.
life. Spend some good. I got a Brita filter, thought it changed my life. Spend some good money, cut through water strife. Now I'm sitting here with my glass in hand, wondering if it's just a scam. Oh man, oh man. Brita filters don't do a thing, just another product with a fancy ring. Pour the water in, let it do its dance, but my tap tastes the same, don't stand a chance. Promises of purity, oh crystal clear. Yeah, my water's just the same, that's my biggest fear. Every drop that flows through, it's all the same. Brita's got my wallet, but it's all a game. Brita filters don't do a thing, just another product with a fancy ring. Pour the water in, let it do its dance, but my tap tastes the same, don't stand a chance. Brita's got this purity, oh crystal clear. Yet my water's just the same, that's my biggest fear. Every drop that flows through, it's all the same. Brita's got my wallet, but it's all a game. Brita filters don't do a thing.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
We get back to the sitcom bracket in just a moment. Hey, welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Got to pause on a little college football, Pearl, because not only is this video game coming out, which I'm being told is like the second coming, we are getting closer and closer and closer to the college football, really starting in earnest. And how I know that college football is on the horizon is when I get my preview magazine from Phil Steele, who is, in my opinion, best in the business in terms of laying out everything you need to know for the upcoming college football season. And Phil Steele, good enough to join us here on this Friday morning. Phil, thanks so much for your time, and congratulations on another magazine coming out, because it's a behemoth. I know it's a labor of love, but it's a big help. How you doing?
Hey, I am doing great, Maggie. Yeah, we pour 7 months into that magazine every year, and now that it's out, it's my fun time of year. Just get to talk football on the radio, but appreciate you having me on, Maggie.
No, appreciate you. Thanks so much, Phil. So, on paper, who is the best team in the country?
I'm going to go way out of the box here. How about Georgia? Yeah, when you look at Georgia, to me, the thing that strikes me the most about them is their overall depth. Going over the squad, you can get to the third string, and you've got guys that would start for a lot of other schools out there. They've got the quarterback in Carson Beck. They've got my number 1 rated offensive line in the country. All their units naturally rank in the top units. One of the best defenses. They're one of the best special teams in the country. Now, they may lose a game during the regular season. They play 3 top 10 teams on the road. They have to play Alabama, Texas, and Ole Miss all on the road this year. But I think when the playoffs start, and now we're in a 12-team playoff, depth is going to be crucial, and Georgia's got the best depth in the country.
But, Phil, couldn't you have said everything you just said about them last year, too? I mean, when they were going for the three-peat?
Yeah, and I tell you what, last year, had they been in the playoff, I think they would have won the playoff. They just got left out. They had number 5 because they lost the SEC championship game. So they lost one game all year. They picked the wrong week to lose, and it kept them out of the playoff. That won't happen this year.
All right, so we got Georgia as the team to beat. Who is the biggest threat to Georgia?
Well, it's Ohio State. And, when you look at the Buckeyes, they haven't beaten Michigan for 3 straight years. And what that did this year is a lot of these guys who normally would have left for the NFL, like a Jack Sawyer up front, Tyleik Williams, a Tuamalo, all up front, they all opted to return this year. So they have so many players coming back. They only lose 4 NFL draft picks, extremely low for Ohio State, because those guys want to leave with a Big Ten title. They want to leave beating Michigan. And then they added in some super transfers, like Caleb Downs coming over from Alabama, Will Howard from Kansas State, Seth McLaughlin coming in from Alabama. So a lot of top-notch transfers coming in to join all these NFL guys that could have left. They're a very dangerous team. Now, they are probably their biggest obstacle is Oregon. They have to play Oregon on the road during the regular season. They probably have to play them again during the Big Ten championship. But they're going to make the playoffs. They've got my number 5 offense in the country. They've got my number 1 defense in the country. I think Ohio State is a threat this year.
We're talking with Phil Steele. He's got his new magazine, Preview magazine, out now. It's an absolute must for college football fans. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Phil, talk about Ohio State. Let's all not forget also their offensive coordinator is Chip Kelly. So random. Phil, of those, you mentioned Oregon. Of the Pac-12, the former Pac-12 teams that are now joining the Big Ten, give us a little, who do you think is going to do well? Obviously, Oregon is one of them, but who do you think is going to struggle? How do you think that adjustment's going to go for those Pac-12 teams?
Yeah, I think the Ducks come in and contend for the Big Ten title the first year. Dan Lanning's doing a fantastic job, not only recruiting but bringing in the transfers. You know, you lose a Bo Nix at quarterback who had 45 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, but you bring in a Dylan Gabriel and a Dante Moore from UCLA. So I think they're fine at quarterback. They got my number 1 receivers in the country. They got my number 3 offensive line. There's a chance they could run the table. When you look at their schedule this year, the road trips are against Oregon State, UCLA. The toughest one is at Michigan, which I do consider a possible winnable game for them. So I think they're a legitimate contender. As far as the one that's going to struggle, let's go back to the team that played in the national title game last year in Washington. And, you know, a funny thing during the magazine, and I know they were doing it tongue-in-cheek, but we asked Washington for pictures for the magazine of, players that played last year, and, we don't have any. So they only have 6 guys coming back overall, 2 starters on offense, 4 on defense. It's basically a brand-new team, and they got blown up in January when their head coach left for Alabama. A lot of players transferred out. This is a brand-new staff, and then Washington also draws the toughest schedule in the Big 12 this year. I think they go from contending for a national title, being in the national title game, to possibly fighting just to get to a bowl game this year. Remember TCU last year went from playing in the national title game all the way down to 5-7.
The one I'm excited for is to see Texas in the SEC. Huge expectations there. What do you expect from Texas? And are we going to see Arch at any point? Maggie and I always are asking that. What's in the future for the Longhorns?
Yeah, I think Texas is a legitimate SEC contender this year in their first year, partially because of the team. You look at the best quarterback room in the country with Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning, and you will see Arch Manning on the field at times this year, but Quinn Ewers is definitely the starter there. They've got one of the best offensive lines in the country. Their back 7 on defense is strong. Your question marks would be they lose their top running back, they lose all their top receivers, and they lose 2 NFL draft picks on the defensive line. But they get the much better welcome mat to the SEC than did Oklahoma. Texas faces my number 15 rated schedule in the SEC, or the second easiest. They avoid most of the big boys this year. They get Georgia at home, and that's a game they could easily, it's a toss-up game in my mind. They play Oklahoma and Dallas. They only have 3 true SEC road games. Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Texas A&M, all winnable. This is a Texas team that you may see them play Georgia 3 times this year. Once during the regular season, once in the SEC title game, and who knows, once again in the playoffs possibly.
That feels mean to do to anybody. Got to play Georgia 3 times in the same year. Phil Steele is joining us. Phil Steele's college football preview. The magazine is out now. You mentioned about Washington losing their head coach, obviously. Kalen DeBoer goes to Alabama. How do you think he's going to fare in his first season, Phil?
Yeah, and, when I looked at this, Maggie, when it happened, when Nick Saban left, and you're thinking, oh, my God, how do you replace a legend? And then a whole bunch of players hit the portal because you can when a head coach leaves. I was like, well, I guess Alabama's in for a rebuilding year. But after going over the team with Coach DeBoer this year, they've got Jalen Milroe back. I like the running back core. The running backs are one of the strengths of the team. And then you look at the offensive line. Once again, it's one of the best offensive lines in the country. And defensively, they are loaded. And they go out, and what Kalen DeBoer did is they lost some players to the transfer portal, but they had in a Damani Jackson from USC, a cornerback, Keon Saab from Michigan, a free safety. And how about the Luke Groza Award winner, Graham Nicholson, a kicker? Parker Brailsford solves those snapping problems they had last year. And Kalen DeBoer knows a thing or two about winning. He's 104-12 as a head coach, and he actually has. When I look at these 2 teams, last year's Washington, this year's Alabama, he's got more talent with him this year, a better team with Alabama than he had with Washington last year that made it to the championship game. So if anybody's going to get through that Georgia-Texas 2 at the top, I think Alabama's that team. Keep your eyes on this one. Never doubt Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, but play a little devil's advocate there. Historically, is there really anybody who's been able to step in for a legend like Nick Saban? I'm thinking other programs isn't the usual norm for a program to step back after losing a Hall of Famer like that?
Yeah, I mean, go back to a long time ago. Vince Lombardi steps down, Phil Bengtson steps in, and look what happened to the Packers. But that was my first question to Kalen DeBoer, and he's confident that they can get it done and keep this thing rolling. And he's a heck of a coach. I think it was the perfect replacement.
Okay, as we're talking coaches, we haven't mentioned Deion yet. Of course, made a big splash at the Big 12 Media Day. What do you expect from Colorado this year?
I think it's going to be sort of the same as last year with Colorado. Struggle to get to a bowl game if they can, but I've got them an underdog in 7 or 8 games this year. I just think there's too much turnover. They've got some big-time players. Shedeur Sanders, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Travis Hunter, one of the best wide receivers and one of the best defensive backs in the country. But how about that offensive line? You can't just bring in 5 new starters all the time and expect them to do well. The offensive line was a question last year. I like a lot of the skilled players. I have question marks on defense, question marks on the offensive line. I think if they get to a bowl game, it's a good year for Colorado.
Phil Steele is joining us. Phil Steele's college football preview. The magazine is out now. It's always a must this time of year. Kind of gets you set and ready for the college football season. Phil, we're on in South Bend. Give us the outlook on Notre Dame. Are they a title contender?
Oh, no doubt. Notre Dame clearly makes a playoff this year. You know, Marcus Freeman is now in year 3. I like the talent he's got. And if they can keep Riley Leonard healthy the whole year, look out, because Duke was a different team with Riley Leonard last year than they were without him. They lose some players at receiver, but I like the guys they brought in, like Bo Collins coming in from Clemson, Chris Mitchell coming in from FIU. The offensive line is a strength. I rate it number 26 in the country. And defensively, Freeman knows defense, and he's got a really good defense. In fact, my number 8 defense in the country. And then you look at their schedule this year, very manageable. Now, that first game at Texas A&M is tricky. College Station, tough place to play. But their other road games are Purdue, Georgia Tech, Navy, Army, and even USC. I think that they'll have a decent crowd for that. They get Florida State at home. The schedule's very manageable. Number 57 in the country. Notre Dame clearly makes the playoff, and that makes them a national title contender.
Do you have a Cinderella or a dark horse playoff team with expanded playoffs?
Yeah, one of them is a team that had 5 losses last year and won't be in anybody's preseason top 10, but it's Utah out of the Big 12. And when I look at Utah, you know, last year, one of the reasons they lost 5 games, they had a brutal Pac-12 schedule. The Pac-12 last year was one of the best conferences in college football, and they had to play all the big boys on the road, Oregon State, USC, Washington, Arizona. They were also without Cam Rising, and something that happened in August and went unnoticed, Brandon Rose's backup got injured and was out, so they were down to their 3rd, 4th, and 5th string quarterbacks. Teams could stack the box on them. They couldn't pass. Now they've got Cam Rising. They've got an upgraded receiving core. If you know anything about Kyle Whittingham, they're strong at the line of scrimmage, both offensive line and defensive line, and now they get most of the tough tests at home. Their road schedule, very manageable. One game that might be an underdog in this year at Oklahoma State. That one might determine a lot of stuff in the Big 12, but I think they get to the Big 12 title game. They are the best team in the Big 12 and get to the playoff this year, coming off a 5-loss season last season.
Phil Steele is joining us. Okay, so if Utah's the dark horse, on the flip side, is there a team that maybe the public is expecting to be really good that you're not so sure might take a step back this year?
Yeah, Washington, as I mentioned, the team that was in the title game last year, but I don't think a lot of people are really expecting a lot out of Washington. But one team that might flirt with making the playoff, and it's going to be close, how about Michigan, the team that won the national title? And they lost a ton from last year. Last year they were number 7 on my experience chart, and this year they're number 117 on my experience chart. And I did a blog on philsteele.com 2 days ago, which talked about how the difference in experience chart and what happens to you. And then you look at their schedule. They play Texas week 2. This is a Michigan team where my question marks are not on defense. They've got one of the best defenses in the country. Running back, solid. Receiver, solid. The question marks are at quarterback. Who the heck is the quarterback? And if whoever wins the job, are they going to be decent? And then how about an offensive line that loses all 5 starters? And if your question marks are at quarterback and offensive line, those are 2 big-time things. They have to play Ohio State on the road. They play Texas at home. They also play Oregon at home. It's a game I think Oregon can go in there and get because I think Oregon's really strong. Their over-under win total is 9.5. They may, if they win 9 games this year, they could go from winning the national title to just missing the playoff.
All right, last one for me, Phil. I want to sound smart to my friends. Give me a surprise Heisman candidate, somebody that no one is talking about right now.
I'm going to have to go with Cam Ward of Miami of Florida, just for the fact that he had turnover problems at Washington State, but he's got a lot of surrounding talent at Miami. I actually put Miami in my top 10 this year. He may have a big year throwing the football, and if he can cure those turnover problems that he had last year, Miami could surprise a lot of folks.
Phil, can't tell you how much we appreciate this. Phil Steele, of course, the Preview magazine, it's a must. You know about it. Every year, finally, it's like Phil Steele season. Sit down with that thing and start leafing through it. And Phil, we'll have to get you on again because there's just so much information to go through. Thank you again for doing this.
Yeah, a lot of fun. We should do this more often, guys.
Absolutely love it. I know. We got Penn State out there. We've got all these other things. We got to get to a break, but thank you so much.
All right, sounds great. A lot of fun talking football with you guys.
Appreciate you. Phil Steele, you can find the preview, college football preview. It's out now.
I just feel a little bad. EJ's not here. EJ Stewart, executive producer, out with a torn patellar tendon. The only Miami fan in my life, and he gets a Miami top 10. That surprised me. Cam Ward, we know a little bit about, was great. That'd be exciting for college football if the Hurricanes actually finally delivered.
No doubt. 855-212-4227. You're welcome to weigh in on college football. We will reveal the lower half of the Maggie and Perloff sitcom bracket. This is the final region that gets revealed today. We're in the MASH section, number 1 overall seed in this region. We'll do that next. It's Maggie and Perloff.
I got a well filter, thought it'd change my life. Spent some good money, cut the water strife. But now I'm sitting here with my glass in hand, wondering if it's just a scam. Oh man, Brita filters don't do a thing, just another product with a fancy ring. Pour the water in, let it do its dance, but my tap tastes the same, don't stand a chance. Perloff, Maggie Gray, hear my plea. Brita's just a trick, can't you see? Every drop that flows through, it's all the same. Brita's got our wallets, but it's all a game. Brita filters don't do a thing, just another product with a fancy ring. Pour the water in, let it do its dance, but my tap tastes the same, don't stand a chance. Andrew Perloff, Maggie Gray, hear my plea. Brita's just a trick, can't you see? Every drop that flows through, it's all the same. Brita's got our wallets, but it's all a game. Brita filters don't do a thing, just another product with a fancy ring. Pour the water in, let it do its dance, but my tap tastes the same, don't stand a chance. I trusted in the hype, thought it'd be alright, but every sip I take, it's like day and night. Gotta face the truth, can't hide the fact. Brita filters, they don't have your back. Conspiracies abound like fluoride in the tap. Brita's just another in their hidden trap. Don't fall for the hype, keep your money tight. Maggie and Perloff, you know I'm right. Brita filters don't do a thing, just another product with a fancy ring. Pour the water in, let it do its dance, but my tap tastes the same, don't stand a chance. So next time you're tempted by the Brita charm, remember this song and raise the alarm. Don't fall for the hype, save your cash today. Brita filters, man, just throw them away. So next time you're tempted by the Brita charm, remember this song and raise the alarm. Don't fall for the hype, save your cash today. Brita filters, man, just throw them away. I got a well filter, thought it'd change my life.
2 minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining.
Speaks of pyramids and secrets where the old gods dwell. First is just giants, ancient and grand, that come the aliens with plans for the land. Oh, Peter Bellotti, hold on tight. Each game unveils a stranger sight. From ancient relics beneath the turf to cosmic plots that question Earth. Aaron Rodgers whispers of a league on the moon.
30 seconds
in craters under a starlit monsoon. Claims a playbook written in celestial script, decoded by seers in a cryptic crypt. Now it's not just aliens, it's time traveling
15
fans
seconds.
watching games that are part of the universe's plans. Interdimensional gates
Break-ins
at the
in
50-yard
5
line,
seconds.
where players and phantoms uniquely intertwine. Oh, Peter Bellotti, what's best in the game?
We're back on Maggie and Perloff. That was great having Phil Steele on talking college football. I know it's the middle of July right now, but I can almost see the leaves falling and start to think, it's getting here. Football season is coming. I'm very excited. Right now, we're doing the sitcom bracket, the Maggie and Perloff sitcom bracket. We're on a mission to figure out the best sitcom of all time, and you get to vote. It's your choice that ultimately decides this. In the meantime, you can yell at us for the seating. Let's go on here, Mag. What do we got next?
Okay, so we have already revealed the top half of the MASH region. This is the final region, so I'll just recap it quickly. The number one overall seed in this region, clearly, MASH, goes up against the 16-seeded ALF. The 8-9 matchup is Everybody Loves Raymond up against Parks and Recreation. The 5th seed is Good Times. That takes on 12th-seeded Roseanne. The 4th seed is Cosby Show. We realize, problematic. We get it. 13th-seeded Abbott Elementary goes up against The Cosby Show. So now it is time to reveal the bottom half of the MASH bracket. And weighing in at the 6th seed in this region is Curb Your Enthusiasm. Here's a clip where Larry David explains the sorry window has closed on a woman whose dad has died.
You know what she must be going through, because my dad died about 2 years ago. Huh. What was that? That's all you have to say when I tell you my father died?
What should I have said?
I'm sorry to hear that. Sad news.
With all due respect, don't you think the sorry window is closed on that? 2 years, you're still getting sorries? I don't think so. That's a long time for sorries. That's like saying Happy New Year in October.
It goes up against only Larry. And it goes up against the 11th seed in this region, the show Community. The gang is split on the importance of the student president race in this clip.
We're electing a student president. I want to run. I have so many ideas for improving the school.
Improving Greendale takes more than ideas, Annie. It takes time, gasoline, matches.
Nice. Well, newsflash, Jeff. Some of us care about more than just fixing our hair and sculpting our abs.
Wow, you got me pegged.
Democracy, what a ruse. There's no such thing as a system in which the masses hold any
Everyone wants you to shut up.
On the nose.
That show has a cult following. I'm nervous about Community there.
Take it out, Curb?
I know Curb's iconic, but Community, people who like Community love Community.
Okay, so that's your 6-11 matchup. The 3 seed in the MASH region, the Maggie and Perloff sitcom bracket, is the show Frasier. Here's a clip for you. Frasier doesn't want to go on a trip with just him and his dad.
I agreed to see America with Dad. I thought we'd be staying in 5-star resorts. When I said together, I meant adjoining suites.
Just tell him you think it's a bad idea.
No, I can't do that. He's counting on this trip too much. It was his dream. He was going to go on this trip with Mom.
Yes, but she lucked out and died.
If Dad and I get into a Winnebago together, only one of us will come out alive. You've got to come with us.
Frasier, you're my brother. That entitles you to my bone marrow and one of my kidneys. But this is an imposition.
Okay.
Niles.
Sure. Wow. Goes up against the 14 seed. This caused so much controversy behind the scenes. I'm getting flashbacks. The 14 seed in this region is Boy Meets World. Here is a clip where Sean is not supportive of Corey telling Topanga, I love you.
She looks so beautiful. You didn't tell her that, did you? No. See, she's beautiful. Yeah, like I'd say that, Sean. I said I love you. What? Idiot! Once word gets around what you told Topanga, every girl's gonna want to hear it. What, I love you? You're like a stinging canary.
Okay, this one was very controversial behind the scenes because if you're paying close attention to this bracket, we have Boy Meets World here, but we don't have the Wonder Years. So you have the more famous brother who kind of paved the way for the younger brother, but we don't have the more famous Fred Savage as opposed to Boy Meets World.
No.
What's his name?
What is the other Savage?
Ben Savage?
Michael Savage? Ben Savage.
Ben Savage. So this one was very controversial.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, it came down to the same thing as Saved by the Bell, that Boy Meets World was really a kid show.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And do we really consider The Wonder Years a sitcom?
So that was another
What?
thing.
Yeah.
Why would that not be a sitcom?
Didn't have a laugh track.
Yeah, there were some more like
Heartening moments. Yeah. It was more of a coming of age kind of
tugging at the
story.
heartstrings, poignant.
Yeah, Boy Meets World is coming of age, too.
I didn't watch enough Boy Meets World, I guess, to...
They were going for the laughs.
The laugh track is key there.
Yeah. All right, so that's the 314 is Frasier going up against Boy Meets World. We move on. This is the MASH region, the Maggie and Perloff sitcom bracket. The 7th seed in this region is the show Family Matters. Here is who else? Steve Urkel wants to exchange school photos with Laura.
Hi, Laura, my little photogenic fox. It's that time of year again, the day everybody exchanges their school pictures.
Sorry, I don't think I can spare one, Steve. I only have 144.
Oh, I understand. I'll just stick around and stare at the real thing.
Okay. Actually, Steve Urkel in real life, huge Warriors fan.
I said this bracket to Joe Flint, who's a Wall Street Journal TV reporter. His quote was, "What the heck is Family Matters doing on this list?"
You know, and as a 7th seed, you know what? I'll raise my hand. You can blame me for that. This was in my wheelhouse. This is my wheelhouse when I was a kid. So I don't think Family Matters though is going to last very long because it's going up against a very tough 10 seed in this region. That would be the show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Here's a clip for you where the gang realizes Charlie has been turning on the closed sign on the bar because he can't read.
I always make sure to turn on the Coors sign, let people know we got Ice Delicious Coors in the bar, you know, and then that's the last thing I do. Old Charlie's done a lot of work around here.
Charlie, that sign does not say Coors.
Come outside. Come outside. Come outside.
It's closed. It says closed, Charlie.
Okay. Yeah, right. I can see that now. But, you know, you can't really read it from the inside.
You can't read it from the outside. All right, you know.
There you go.
By the way, Always Sunny, big cult favorite. It's my favorite show, but not a lot of people watch it. Like many more people have seen Family Matters than Always Sunny. So that's going to be an interesting one.
Okay, and finally, the last matchup in this part of the bracket in this region is the 2 seed, very strong 2 seed here. It's a little show you may have heard of called All in the Family. Here is Archie Bunker upset his chair was sent away to be cleaned.
Chair was old and rickety.
Old and rickety? You say a rotten thing like that about something that I hold dear? Do I ever say rotten things like that about the things that you hold dear? Did I ever call your mother old and rickety?
But the springs was all loose.
So was your mother's.
And it was covered with beer stains.
So was your mother.
And the stuffing was all coming out.
You knew her better than me.
All right, that goes up against the 15 seed in this region. It is Will and Grace. Here's a clip for you where Grace thinks Will has replaced her with a new best friend.
You know, I've just been really busy and I turned my back and I've been replaced by that wacko.
It takes one to replace one. Wait a minute, Grace, are you jealous?
No. Are you kidding? Like, I would even, yes, I'm totally jealous. What are you looking at?
All right, there you go. So that is the bottom half of the final region. We're revealing Curb against Community, Frasier against Boy Meets World, Family Matters head-to-head with Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and All in the Family versus Will and Grace. You can go vote now. Everything is live. All 64 have been released.
Hot prediction. The winner, if Always Sunny gets past Family Matters, the winner, Frasier, Always Sunny, comes out of this bracket. Because this is the weakest bracket. This is the most apt for a low seed to win.
See, I don't think this is weak. I think you're underestimating how much everyone loved Parks and Rec. I think that you are underestimating Good Times.
I think Parks and Rec has a tough first-round matchup. That sometimes happens. Everybody loves Raymond against Parks and Rec. That's a battle royale.
I know, but I think Parks and Rec is going to end up winning that one. Anyway, so you can go vote. It's up to you guys. I mean, I'm voting too. Perloff, I'm sure, is voting. We're all voting, but it's your vote that counts the most, obviously. At Maggie and Pearl on X.
Give Alf some love.
Alf.
By the way, I said a low seed's going to win. Parks and Rec's a 9 seed. That's my point.
You said there's nobody in this bracket. You said it's easy.
I think it's going to be a lower seed because the 1 seed MASH, 2 seed All in the Family, 3 seed is Frasier. That's pretty good. 4 seed Cosby Show. I don't think anyone's voting for that. And 5 is Good Times. Good Times was in the 70s.
I know.
Parks and Rec, Raymond is 8-9.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
And that's what an 8-9 should be.
I saw a thing. Everybody Loves Raymond it's like one of the top 5 most successful syndication sitcoms. It is on all the time. Yeah. So that gives it some extra life.
So there you go. Everything's out now, and we will get to some snubs. And obviously, Pete, who has basically been a conscientious objector to this entire exercise the whole time, has now started his own rogue bracket, the Bilotti Invitational Tournament.
Bracket for the people.
It's up to 32 sitcoms.
He's going to march down the halls with a giant sign saying,
that right.
How dare you forget, give me a show, whatever is on there.
Yeah, step by step.
Was the Wonder Years debate back and forth?
No.
I wanted the Wonder Years on.
I wanted the Wonder Years. I definitely would have wanted the Wonder Years over about
it was
15
hard.
of these shows.
We had the call to leave it off.
Well, it was all 3 of us. We had to come to a consensus. But it's like, does it have a lot? Like, there are certain things about a sitcom, and we weren't sure if the Wonder Years fully went in.
It's not for that. For me, I don't think Boy Meets World is on there because I think that humor is very juvenile.
Well, of course. But this is also not a taste thing. It's like some of it's taste, some of it's commercial appeal, some of it's legacy, some of it's era.
But I mean, Boy Meets World is not competing with Everybody Loves Raymond. I mean, these are giant nighttime sitcoms, huge monster leviathans. And the other thing, too, is like all these kid shows, Gilligan's Island. I got in big trouble. EJ is like, how can you call Gilligan's Island a kid show? Because I'm like, I stopped watching when I was 11. That's why I call it a kid show. It's like not like I'm going to sit down and kick the feet up and be like, oh, let's see what Thurston Howell's up to.
So here's the that's a great thought. Here's the thing, though. You say kid show like it's a bad thing. There are some of these that are intentionally kid shows that are on the list. So Saved by the Bell. We know that's a kid show. It still made it. When I first started watching The Simpsons, I was 8.
No.
I thought that was for me as a kid show. It was only as I got older and smarter that I realized I was only getting like a third of the jokes.
Yeah. But the Gilligan's Island, you were getting all the jokes. You got 100% of the jokes when you were 8.
Maybe. Still don't know how the Globetrotters got off that island.
It's a great question. We could put up the poll. Are you a Marianne guy or a Ginger guy?
I apologize because I came in. I missed some of this, I guess, earlier this week. Simpsons is obviously on. Is
the 1 seed.
Is Family Guy on?
Yes.
Okay.
Family Guy, though, was a little low-seeded at 14.
Really?
We had a lot of back and forth about whether cartoons should be on here in general. So Simpsons, Family Guy, and South Park all did make it on, but we left off King of the Hill. We left off the Flintstones, which we thought could have been borderline.
Futurama didn't make it.
We left off Rick and Morty, and we left off BoJack Horseman.
Here's my Family Guy issue is way different, and I get it. I'm pretty sure Family Guy just so openly stole from The Simpsons. Like, he is Homer Simpson. Like, how come no one's bothered by that except me? It's just a ripoff of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
I thought it was so much different, though.
How? A little different accent.
I mean, Family Guy is awesome. It's really funny, but it seems like so openly an homage to The Simpsons.
I thought the humor was different.
Oh my God!
There's a lot of pop culture references
How
that
is it
The
different?
Simpsons has. Maybe a little more
politically
current.
incorrect father.
Yeah.
A brash, smart talking kid. Like
I thought Family Guy pushed the envelope just a bit more.
yeah, definitely.
terms of
Family Guy's a little
controversial
dirtier.
things. Yeah, I
a
agree
little
with-
dirtier.
yeah.
But actually, there's a lot of Simpsons that push the envelope.
No,
there
they
are
do,
a lot
but
of adult things.
I think Family Matters, like not Family Matters. That does not at all. Family Guy, they go like right up to the line. I mean.
No, I agree with that. But I mean, there are certainly similarities. Have you ever seen the South Park? The Simpsons did it. It's a famous where South Park is. They're sitting around. The boys are trying to write a sitcom, and they come up with all these wild plots, and they have like the 20 best plots, and then they go, "Oh yeah, the Simpsons already did that. Simpsons already did that. Simpsons already did that." It's just such a big show that it's hard to be original.
They've been on for how many years?
35 years. Like, they predicted the future.
What haven't they covered? Right?
Yeah, in 1997, they had an episode where Biden and Trump debated, basically. Like, they are incredible. If you've seen the future predictions of The Simpsons are insane.
Yeah.
So there it is. It's all out there now for your voting pleasure, to critique, to tell us if we got anything right. Anything right in this bracket? I don't know. CeeLo's here with the headlines. Hello.
All right, 7 no-hit innings for rookie sensation Paul Skeens Thursday, part of a Pirates 1-0 win over the Brewers. Skeens lifted after 99 pitches, 11 strikeouts by manager Derek Shelton, who certainly wasn't second-guessing his decision after the game.
Not at all. He was tired. I mean, it was, it really didn't have anything to do with the pitch count. Everybody makes it about pitch counts. It was about where he was at. It was about, trusting your eyes, trusting him. When I went and talked to him after that, I mean, he was tired.
The Brewers worked him early despite no hits, and Skeens himself comfortable handing off a tight game to the Pittsburgh bullpen.
I have a ton of trust in them to be able to finish it. And, obviously in a 1-0 game, you want to stay in there, you want to finish it, but the volume's getting up there a little bit, so I get it.
Skeens, courtesy of MLB Network, he is now 6-0 across his 11 big league starts with a 1.90 ERA. Meantime, the Phillies with a statement sweep of the Dodgers. They took the finale yesterday 5-1. It was manager Rob Thompson not getting too caught up in his team's success.
I don't know. I mean, it's 3 wins, and you take those 3 games off the schedule. You win 3 more. You put 3 more in your win column. That's how I sort of look at it.
So he's downplaying the success against another World Series competitor.
That is rudimentary analytics right there. I can't question the dude's math. I mean,
yeah, well,
we
Rob.
played 3 games, 3 come off the schedule, and we move right along.
Really reinventing the wheel here.
Yeah.
This is the one thing when a team like this is this good, this early, like early-ish in the season, are you going to be able to keep it together?
Yeah.
Because now the expectations are going to be really high. It's a team that fell short in the World Series 2 years ago. And you keep it together.
My favorite Phillies team of all time was the '93 Phillies. The loss to Joe Carter home run.
Yep.
They were good from start to finish. I'm hoping this is a similar run. Kind of the team reminds me like the Phillies, and maybe because I'm a fan. Like they're kind of like a working man's team in a sense. Like Kyle Schwarber, like guys are just like.
I don't think Kyle Schwarber is that guy, but I mean,
Kyle Schwarber is the ultimate guy. I mean, he's the ultimate
home run hitter. He's a banger.
But he feels like he could be on your softball team. That's what I mean. Like he's just like your everyman. Are you kidding me? That dude is clearly has a 6-pack somewhere in the clubhouse.
What a guy!
Yeah, maybe that's true.
Kyle Schwarber. I mean, he's hard not to like.
No, but I mean, Bryce Harper's a little
easy.
Hollywood.
Bryce Harper is.
Trey Turner's Hollywood.
Yeah, you're right. But I don't know why. I feel like there's always an underdog quality with the Phillies from the outside. Maybe. They don't feel like a favorite, right? They kind of feel like...
No, they feel like the favorite. You're emotionally hedging.
No, I feel like the Dodgers and the Yankees always feel like favorite. The Phillies, by definition, feel like it doesn't sound right. Like the Phillies are the ultimate favorite.
That's more about history and brand
history
than the
and
current.
I mean, your
current
general
rosters.
manager is basically known as like one of the highest spending, and your payroll is massive. So, New York and LA Dodgers by reputation, but the Phillies are right there in terms of big spending.
Yeah, it's funny. I maybe I'm trying to lower the expectations. I just don't feel like. Yeah, but you look at the Dodgers. Dodgers have 7 former MVPs on their team. Now that's a favorite. I mean, they go with Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, and Shohei Ohtani. That's not a favorite. Then
and
who
you've
is?
got Bryce Harper and you've got Trey Turner. You already mentioned Kyle Schwarber. It's not like you got nobodies on this team.
Right. But we didn't pay $50 million for every MVP and bring him in and every Cy Young winner.
While CeeLo continues, let me just pull up the Phillies payroll.
You did before.
Phillies are 61-32, best record in baseball. Sticking with the Philly theme, the Sixers bringing back 38-year-old Kyle Lowry, stays with his hometown team on a one-year deal after he finished down the stretch with the Sixers this past season. The Kings announced rookie Devin Carter underwent left shoulder surgery to repair a torn labrum, so the 22-year-old is going to miss about 6 months or so after Sacramento recently made him the 13th overall pick of this summer's draft. Wimbledon men's semis today. Carlos Alcaraz and Daniil Medvedev about to get started on center court. That'll be followed by Novak Djokovic against Lorenzo Musetti. U.S. Soccer has begun reaching out to candidates to replace recently fired manager Greg Berhalter, and that reportedly includes the man we mentioned yesterday, former Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp, but it sounds like the 57-year-old said thanks but no thanks already. So
great negotiating. This is all negotiation from Klopp, right?
I guess.
No, I can. I said I would take a year off.
Right.
What coach in the right mind? That just means the price just went up.
Yes, I read
Wait,
somewhere.
I'm such a sucker. I was like reading about him. He could have coached anywhere, and he really. And also too, like he says he's leaning against taking it. Like that's the reports.
Well,
Do you think he's just playing hardball?
That he wanted to take a year off. I mean, I wouldn't think that unless I had seen this.
I don't know. I don't want. If I'm a great coach, I'm not sure I want to touch the American team. Like, is he going to be able to? There's a lot of expectations. Like,
well, that's what the money's for. And you don't even have to qualify for the World Cup. You're already qualified because we're hosting, along with Canada and Mexico.
I hear you. That is interesting. I actually took him for his word, not knowing any of the situation. But if this is playing hardball and negotiating, he's pretty good.
Just really quickly, Phillies, 2 $300 million players and 4 more $100 million players.
Right, but I was just looking at how many World Series have the Phillies won? This sport's been around for 150 years.
Okay, well,
2.
This is
They're way closer to the Cubs than the Yankees.
Well, like we said, that's more about the history of the franchise.
I was talking
than this
right now.
season.
They have the third highest payroll in baseball.
But it's hard for me. Like, it's hard to feel like, oh, they're the evil empire. Like, they've stacked all this talent. Like, trust me.
It's very easy for me.
Yeah, I see you guys as super evil. What's next, CeeLo?
Yeah, you guys are Mets fans.
Exactly.
I guess like you're looking up to a lot of people.
We have the first highest payroll.
Right, exactly. Funny moment on the set of ESPN's First Take. I believe this was yesterday. So Molly Querum's chopping it up with her panelists, asking how their summers are going. And I guess Bart Scott off camera tried to join the conversation, having no idea that they were live.
Bart Scott, you're not. I don't think you're ready, Bart. You're coming. Your mic's not open. We'll get to you in just a little bit, though. You'll be with us in just. We're live, Bart. Thanks, so it's good to see you. Yeah.
Thanks, so just if you could exit stage left, we'll check in with you during the commercial break. That could have gone much worse for the folks at ESPN, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, having sat next to Bart for a few years, he's the best, but that could have gone worse.
If you could pick one media member to do that, where would Bart be on your list, Maggie?
Mount Rushmore.
Is there a subject on Earth that Bart would not weigh in on? I'd like to find it.
It makes him a great radio host because he's got an opinion on everything. And it is kind of funny, though. They were just talking about their summer plans. It's not, if they had been breaking down the Lakers roster, he would have never known.
Yeah.
It's an odd first take topic. Usually they're talking about the Cowboys. I didn't know.
I actually saw the headline. I was wondering, what were they actually talking about? Like, I'm going to Cancun or something?
Yeah, I think it was sort of...
A little banter.
Yeah, right. Hey, how you been? How's the summer going? They haven't really dove into anything hard-hitting just yet. And you could see where he thought, like, oh... We're just kind of chopping it up here on the set, talking about our summer. Let me walk out here and get involved in this conversation.
Man, I remember there's a funny Bart story where he was coming back off of vacation. We were doing a show down in Atlantic City, and he was coming back from Europe, and he had to like get down to Atlantic City, and it was this really tight schedule, but he was making it work, and he was doing it. And he loves cars. Bart's from Detroit, loves cars. And he basically drove the Batmobile, and it ran out of gas.
Oh, no.
And he was like in a terrible neighborhood.
Yeah,
around Atlantic City. It was
I know
a little
Atlantic
dicey.
City. Atlantic City is an adventure.
Yeah. And it was getting dark, and I'm like, good thing you're Bart Scott, because if that was anyone else, I'd really fear for you.
Yeah.
I would just, if I was in Atlantic City, I would just abandon the car and taking a bus home.
He abandoned the Batmobile?
He abandoned the Batmobile.
Wow.
When there's signs around there that say gun-free zone, you know something's going on.
Yep. He got it back. I think. Maybe the Batmobile's still down there.
Still sitting down there?
Might be.
Abandoned somewhere in
cool
the
car, man.
dark roads of Atlantic City.
Yeah. It's probably someone probably stole the tires off it.
I mean, the Batmobile with all those gizmos and everything should be able to overcome the lack of gas, right? Just got to be some sort of backup button to hit there.
It was his car because it had Michigan tags. I'm like, you've lived in New Jersey for 10 years. I do still have Michigan plates.
I'm sure there's a reason for that, if I had to guess.
Yeah. Also, a funny thing about it, never did Easy Pass, whatever they call it across the country. Easy Pass, Sun Pass, the thing that you buy that you can just get through tolls. He would never do that. He didn't want to be tracked. Do you guys think
hear
that?
people
Well,
that
now
say
you
that.
can't. Now your license plate
Your
is
license
tracked,
plate
so
is-
you
doesn't
can't.
matter.
Now
I've
it's
heard
too
people
late.
say that.
It's the
Oh, it's
only
just another
person I
way
ever
of-
thought-
I've heard people say that. Yeah, I don't
Wow.
want the government being tracked.
He never said the government. Be fair to him. I don't know
So
who he
who
was
is he
talking
worried
about.
about then?
His wife. I have no idea.
all right.
No, Bart's the
that's a
best.
good
He's the
point.
best, but he wouldn't do it. I'm like, why not, man?
Keep it cash off the books.
No,
That's funny.
Just funny. CeeLo, thank you. 855-212-4227. Okay, lots more to do. So much more, including the M&P 500. We take a little temperature of whose stock's up and whose stock is down at the end of the week. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The M&P 500 on the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, here we go. A little stock up, stock down for who had a good week, who had a bad week. Perloff, who was on the good side in your opinion?
Okay, obviously soccer's quite big in England, Maggie.
Yep.
In case you didn't know.
Thank you.
This seems like the ultimate concert. The Killers were playing in London, and they put on the big screen England versus Netherlands in the Euro Cup. And this is how it sounded after England won. So basically, they showed the last couple minutes, which was really dramatic on a huge screen. And as soon as the game was over, they went into Mr. Brightside, their big song, and this confetti came out that was white and red England colors. And it seemed like, I mean, it would have been cool to be at the Euro, but if you're not at the Euro, to be at a Killers concert at that moment is like, it's perfect. And you and I were wondering about the logistics of the concert. Like, the stage managing was insane.
How they pulled this off, where the concert is paused, they watch it, you get the final call, they've done it, and then boom, the confetti into Mr. Brightside. Yeah,
which is
whoever
like,
coordinated this deserves like Emmy. I don't know, something.
And if you could pick any song and any band, like that's the modern anthem. Even my 13-year-old daughter knows that song really well, and it feels like a hype song.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
So
or
cool.
actually would do the Kendrick Lamar song too. That would have made sense in America. That's what would have happened.
Probably. That's very much of the now. The M&P 500 stock up, stock down from the week. My stock up from this week is got to be Cooper Flagg. Has anyone had a better week than this dude? 17 years old, scrimmaging with Team USA, and earlier this week, like dominating the Team USA scrimmage. He's going to go to Duke next year. Basketball fans know him, but if the casual sports fan was unsure who the next big thing is in college basketball, Cooper Flagg is the dude.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing to hear the veterans talk about him too, like KD. Really cool. All right.
Stock down.
Stock down. I am also going to do international basketball. I was pretty hype on Canada basketball. They went out against USA.
You're off the bandwagon already?
Can I read you some of these shooting lines? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, MVP candidate, 3 for 10, 1 for 6 from 2. He had a couple threes. Andrew Nembhard, who is terrible with the Pacers last year defensively, but they got the conference title. He was 0 for 5 from the field. My man, Lou Dort, the Dortcher Chamber, was pulled an 0 for. The only guy who hit a single shot for the whole time, Jamal Murray, 2 for 8. Kelly Olynyk was on fire. I don't know about Team Canada anymore. I was trying to root for these guys, but they could not hit the side of a barn against the U.S. team.
I had a thought about this.
What's that?
You're turning on your country.
I
Come
know.
on.
This
Canada.
This is karma for you because you're rooting against the U.S. and now you took up Canada. Now you're off the bandwagon.
I am rooting for every other U.S. team except the basketball team.
How about this? How about maybe they were playing a little possum? Well, they were just missing shots. But I was wondering about that. I'm like, maybe they were just not showing, all their cards. So the U.S. team kind of lull the U.S. to sleep.
Yeah.
And then when they meet in the gold medal game, most likely, then Canada pounces.
It is dawning on me. My dream of seeing this U.S. basketball team lose might not happen. They're pretty darn good.
They are.
Yeah, when you bring out
just
Jason,
got the memo?
Yeah, when you bring Jason Tatum off the bench, you're probably not going to lose a lot of games.
Thank you for that analysis. Well, we'll see, right? That's why they play. My stock down not to get too serious on this, but it's got to be the Georgia Bulldogs right now. You got 2 more players who were involved in and arrested on separate driving-related incidents. Perloff, reckless driving for Smell Mondin and redshirt freshman Bo Hughley. The senior linebacker was Mondin. The redshirt freshman lineman was Bo Hughley. Failure to maintain a lane. This is the 4th and reckless driving for both of them. They're both arrested. 4th driving-related arrest involving a Georgia football player since this year, and 19 driving-related arrests since January of 2023. One incident already cost 2 people their lives. I mean, what are we doing here at Georgia? At some point, I don't know if Kirby Smart is given up on trying to solve this, but you have got to get your arms around this issue. Perloff, it has just become way, way out of bounds. 19 driving-related incidents since January of 2023. This is beyond a problem for Georgia.
Steal a line from my buddy Quincy Avery, the renowned quarterback coach. Get that team an Uber account, like a special deal. And in all
how
seriousness,
about some accountability, responsibility? Yeah. I mean, what's going on over there?
Yeah, I mean, if there's any drinking involved, then definitely do an Uber. Like, that's one message here. I've heard a lot of people talking about it. Yeah, there's something systematic here, and you got to have zero tolerance from now on. I mean, he's got to cut a player.
I mean, 4th driving-related arrest this offseason and 19 since January 2023. I mean, at some point, are we holding the coach responsible or not?
I hope so.
It's crazy.
You're absolutely right.
Coming up, lighter topic, the Maggie and Perloff sitcom bracket. All 64 sitcoms have been revealed. We give you our biggest snubs next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Lots going on here today. You got Paul Skeens pulled from a no-hitter in the 7th inning, 99 pitches. Come on, baseball. Live a little. Have a little fun. Got to be honest with you, you haven't solved all these issues when it comes to pitchers and their health.
If you ran the show, baseball, and you said, have a little fun, run a little, live a little, then all the pitchers would be gone already.
They're already gone, Pearl. They're gone already. This isn't solved,
that's
you know?
a good point. I will give you that.
It's not like we're doing it so much better, than we did 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Like, I understand why analytics took over, because everyone's trying to become more efficient in this world, and everyone's trying to find the edge and the inefficiency and all of that stuff. But to be honest, baseball, I thought, was doing great. They were doing just fine. Yeah, maybe the strike had something to do with it, and then the home run derby brought it back. But I'm talking about before Billy Beane and Moneyball. I think the sport was pretty dang popular.
You think that the analytics ruined baseball? That's crazy to me. Like, it was obviously the pace of the game.
Well, we were fine with the pace of the game for 100 years. And you know what? They fixed the pace of the game. But I think now, I don't know if it's like too little too late in terms of baseball becoming the number one sport in this country again. But just as here's my thing. I don't remember guys having all these guys got injured back in the day. But it's like now it's crazy.
Well, why is that analytics' fault?
Well, because I think they're trying to, in this effort, to become so efficient at all times and to find every little thing. I think we just sort of lost our way with baseball. And if you really want to go to, like, if you're worried about Paul Skeens, pitching another 20 pitches last night and you thought that was going to be the straw that broke the camel's back of his, elbow exploding, here's the thing. You got to go back, like, to when Paul Skeens is 10 years old. And what is he doing then? And how is he pitching then? And what's the program and protocol? Like, this is a philosophical thing about pitchers getting hurt. It's not what's happening, I don't think, at the major league level. It's like it compiles from when you're a kid. And then you get a Tommy John. I mean, listen, it's also about spin rate and it's about velocity, and I understand that. But again, we did baseball for 100 years. And now all of a sudden it's like you cannot pitch a no-hitter because the guy's like elbow is going to end up on the moon.
You know what really hurt baseball?
What's that?
Steroid testing. We were doing great in 1998, man. I was having a blast.
Hear no evil, see no evil.
Yeah, that would have been the way to go.
Yeah, well, you can go and vote on our poll at Maggie and Pearl. Should the Pirates have let Paul Skeens try to finish out the no-hitter? They win 1-0 over the Brewers in Milwaukee last night. Looks like Skeens is on track, Perloff, to start the All-Star game, so at least they are getting that right. We're going to get a little Paul Skeens versus Aaron Judge action, which is awesome. I can't wait.
Wonder if there is a way to keep these guys with crazy stuff healthy. If there's, I mean, come on, why can't they figure it out? They're putting so much money into figuring out every little angle. Why can't they find a way to keep the pitchers whose stuff is amazing from getting hurt?
I mean, to be honest, I think it is the wear and tear when guys are, not the wear and tear, but I think it's a lot of that.
Yeah.
And then I also think it's guys are throwing with its velocity plus spin. You know,
That's
you
what I
kind of
wonder.
used to be like one or another. I think when I was a kid, you know, a lot of it was like either you're like a real fastball pitcher or you've got your stuff, you know, your breaking ball pitcher. And now the guys are just doing both. And I think it just puts a lot of stress on the elbow.
Yeah, good point.
Yes, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, if they're getting every angle here, then you would think that they would do. They're not pulling Paul Skeens because they don't want the best thing for the team. That's my point. Like they think they know better. They're trying their hardest. But I don't think that's why baseball fell off. I think it was not designed for a modern audience. It just wasn't. Regardless of who's pitching, it's great locally. It's great to root for your team, but Maggie, I dare you to sit and watch a AL Central matchup in the middle of a Tuesday afternoon.
Well, but here's the thing. I mean, listen, you're going to bet on stuff. You're going to get, you get a lot more eyeballs. But here's the thing about that. What made it so different 30 years ago?
What?
Honestly, like we still had other things to do. You were still busy. I'm talking 30 years ago. I'm not talking about 100 years ago.
30 years ago was 1992. I think NFL had already surpassed it in a big way.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like back then we were busy. Cell phones existed. Maybe not smartphones necessarily, but cell phones. And you had all other things to watch on TV. You had all these other things, and baseball was still wildly popular. And if it is going to be popular locally, which I'll agree with you, it is. I just don't understand how we got to this place where it's like, all right, so it's just good for your hometown. That's just what it's become. And it's wildly popular in a lot of cities. So.
Yeah, I listen, baseball doesn't need our help. They're clearly making a lot of money. I mean, the NBA's ratings are falling and they're tripling their revenue. So live sports are king. They'll be fine.
Sure. What do we all know? You are welcome to weigh in on Paul Skeens at 855-212-4227. Speaking of Pittsburgh, we also had a conversation about my prediction, one of them for the AFC North, Perloff, which is, I think, finally this amazing run that Mike Tomlin has been on with the Steelers finishing above 500. I think that is going to come to an end this season. This is a team that by Warren Sharp, who is a very smart football analyst, believes they have the toughest schedule in all of National Football League. You have a quarterback situation that I think is just, it's kind of it's hard for me to say it's like a win-win. It's a lose-lose. This is a classic. You've got two quarterbacks. You don't have one. You're hoping that Russell Wilson finds, something, or is like he was last season. I don't know if it's necessarily going that way. And I don't know if Justin Fields is the answer either. And then beyond that, I don't know what you're excited about if you're a Steeler fan when it comes to the quarterback position. The receiver core is limited. Traded away Deontay Johnson, didn't exactly replace him, or you're expecting a rookie to step up. TJ Watt, all of a sudden, you look up and he's 30. He's amazing, but he does get hurt a lot, including the end of last season. Cam Hayward's 35. And they just have this brutal, as I mentioned, schedule, especially down the backstretch. I don't know what the final record is going to be, but I'm predicting that they are going to finish below 500.
Good luck with that. Logic away all you want. 9-8, here we come, baby. It's just, yeah. Do you think I'll say a couple nice things about them. They're zagging when everyone else is zigging. They brought Arthur Smith over from Atlanta, who famously does not throw to his good targets anyway. So what the point of having good targets? Omar Khan, their GM, I don't love everything he's done, but that dude can draft like nobody, or whoever is making the picks, because they took Joey Porter in the second round last year. Yep. He probably should have been a top 5 pick. He's a shutdown corner. They took Keanu Benton, who's great. Broderick Jones is a good left tackle. This year, they got another offensive lineman, Troy Fadenau. Yep. They have a lot of talent in the trenches. So I think that they slow the game down in typical Mike Tomlin style. So you could say all that stuff about talent, but I think their style will dictate wins. And that's how they want to win 17-10. That might not be satisfying for Steelers fans, but the days of Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell and Big Ben are gone. I think you could grind out some wins. We saw him do it last year.
Do you not need a quarterback to win in this league? I mean, let's not overthink it. Like,
they didn't have a quarterback last year, and they won. They were in the playoffs.
They were in the playoffs with Mason Rudolph, and they got smoked. And they haven't
I'm
won a
not
playoff
arguing
game
about
since
that.
2016.
I'm not saying that is not true, but you're saying they're going to break Mike Tomlin's streak and have a losing record. I think there's a great formula for them to keep it going.
855-212-4227. A lot of Pittsburgh on the table today. Paul Skeens, and then also the outlook for the Steelers this season. Now, got a business to attend to here.
Yes.
Which is the Maggie and Perloff sitcom bracket, which has now been released in its totality.
Wow.
All 64 out there for your judgment and your voting. This is our quest to find the greatest sitcom of all time. I actually have some, let me just quickly run through everyone from today, just quickly. So this is the MASH region. MASH is the number 1 seed. They take on 16-seeded ALF. The 8-9 matchup in this region, thank you, Pete. Everybody Loves Raymond takes on Parks and Rec. The 5th seed is Good Times, head-to-head with Roseanne as the 12th seed. 4th seed in this region, controversial, we know. We put the Cosby Show on. They go up against 13-seeded Abbott Elementary. The 6th seed in this region is Curb Your Enthusiasm. They will take on the 11-seed Community. 3 seed is Frasier. Matches up with the number 14 Boy Meets World. Very controversial behind the scenes that was included. The 7 seed is Family Matters. Goes up against number 10 seed Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And the 2 seed in this region, All in the Family, versus the 15 seed Will and Grace. So there you go. You go to @Maggie and Pearl on X, and you can go vote. Now, should I do some results from yesterday, or do you want something from...
Yeah, give me yesterday. Any big upsets? What do we got?
Okay. I love it.
@Maggie and Pearl.
Yep. There we go.
Okay.
Do I have upsets? Yes, I do have upsets in this region. A couple big ones. You ready?
Yep.
Well, the number 1 seed in this region moves on easily. It was Cheers. Takes out Different Strokes, 86% to 14%. The 8-9 matchup was Arrested Development as the 8th seed up against Malcolm in the Middle as the 9th seed. Arrested Development narrowly edges out Malcolm in the Middle, 52 to 48. Happy Days moves on. Taxi goes home in the 5-12 matchup. Here's your upset. It's been a controversy all week. Gilligan's Island. Is it a kid show? Is it not a kid show? Who cares? It's out. 13-seeded 2.5 Men sweeps away Gilligan's Island.
What was the percentage there?
54% to 46%.
Wow, I'm surprised it was that close. I would think 2.5 Men would kill it.
Our next result, it makes me like borderline upset. The 6th seed of Veep is going home. They were beaten by the 11th seed, Married with Children, 75% to 25%.
Wow. I mean, come on. If you had the betting line on that one was 10-1 that Married with Children would knock out Veep.
Exactly.
What are you guys talking about? Veep is so much funnier than Married with Children.
Married with Children is renowned.
It's
like night and day.
We're not debating what's funnier, but I mean, come on, things like this, Married with Children, is iconic.
All right, well, let's move on. Modern Family is the 3 seed, easily cruises over the Honeymooners, which I know is upsetting to Pete.
Ridiculous seating on that one.
Probably 73% to 27%. South Park, easy walkover on The Good Place. South Park wins 81% to 19%. And then, no shock here, Friends, as a very strong 2 seed in this region, takes out Growing Pains.
Oh, we got a Friends South Park early bracket battle going on. All right, so we have the whole bracket out, and we're going to get to some subs real quick. Shows that I wanted to go on there, and I acknowledge that they weren't popular enough necessarily. Flight of the Conchords on HBO, very funny. Silicon Valley on HBO, I'm also a huge fan. Kind of descended into silly. These are HBO shows. The British shows totally got left out, which is, I think, a structural thing. Ab-Fab, absolutely fabulous, amazing. Fleabag is top 10 in a lot of lists. And the British Office with Ricky Gervais, because it inspired the American Office. One more show. Louis was a great show on FX. He's another complicated character. Bob's Burger of cartoons is hysterical. A lot of big fans. The one show I really think should have been on there, and I'm still mad that it got vetoed by my two fellow board members. Larry Sanders Show is legit. Judd Apatow, of course, before he did all those great movies, did the Larry Sanders Show with Gary Shandling, all-time great comedian. Ran from 92 to 98, won every award. It's the only sitcom that has a 100 rating on Rotten Tomatoes critics meter. It is incredible. I highly recommend it. I think anyone who watches it would love it. Those are they're not really snubs because I understand. Do you have any shows that you love?
No, you just named 20 shows, though. That was a lot of shows.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these are sort of the critical darlings that we decided to go with for more pop shows.
Right. So one of them that we talked about a lot and ended up leaving off was Atlanta.
Oh, I had Atlanta high, too, but we decided it wasn't a sitcom.
We decided it wasn't a sitcom because there's whole episodes where the main characters aren't in the episode. It's very avant-garde.
Yeah, so what? I think what a sitcom is has expanded. I mean, Curb Your Enthusiasm is nothing like Cheers.
No, but again, you get the same characters over and over again. You get storylines that kind of
have the same through. You had a lot of the same characters in Atlanta. There weren't that many episodes.
But there no laugh track. I could see it's
that's a thing now.
It's somewhere in the middle. Insecure is another one we mentioned on HBO.
Show. Good show.
What is Sex and the City a sitcom?
That one is a big deal.
Arliss, is that a
sitcom?
So
HBO, we left HBO out. I think we were under England shows are very good too. The British Office is so cringeworthy. It's like Curb combined with it is so hard to watch Ricky Gervais in that, but it's funny.
How about Mr. Bean?
No.
Mr. Bean was one season, but it's another one of those shows that was just renowned.
But it's not funny.
One season?
One season.
Because it's not funny. That is so not funny.
He never spoke.
I know. Oh,
That's
God.
the thing. Okay. I had a couple others. These are just a little bit more like in my house, my wheelhouse. And Pete has his own rogue bracket, the Bilotti Invitational Tournament, which we'll get to.
Working man bracket.
Yeah, not our like highfalutin Family Matters.
Exactly.
Small Wonder was one that was big for me, and then another one was Blossom.
Was Small Wonder on it? That wasn't on at night, was it?
Probably not.
Yeah, so...
And Blossom was on at night, and I used to watch Blossom a lot.
Blossom,
But
okay.
I understood that wasn't going to make the top 64 of all time. But there are a lot of Joey Lawrence fans out there, of which I was one of them.
Yeah, there's the whole hunky 80s, 90s guys, like
Also,
the Charles and Charges of the world.
Charles in Charge, another one. I don't want to step on Pete's toes because I know he's got a lot in his Bilotti Invitational Tournament. But there was also, I think Blossom was the lead-in for Fresh Prince or vice versa. It was a pretty good time slot. So there you go. 855-212-4227.
I will say this: two teams. I'm thinking they're like basketball teams. Two shows that did not make the Bilotti Invitational.
Wow.
Yes, Dear, I think was a very underrated show.
Yep.
Actually, three shows. One from Billy Giacalone out in the newsroom. Becker was another dancing show that was solid, but I feel like it was more in syndication, and it was like a show you would see late at night.
Yeah.
And then Head of the Class, too.
Head of the Class.
That was a good one.
Yep.
Becker, not to call out Billy on this, I don't know any huge Becker fans.
I don't think did it run for very
It
long?
was also kind of dark. I remember it was like he was the sort of down and out guy a little bit, right?
It got lost. It got lost in the shadows a little bit. It wasn't like really in the mainstream, I felt. But it was always on like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. That's when I saw it.
So another one that I brought up, but it didn't make the cut. I thought The League also could have been close. Maybe not top 64, but I thought The League was also very good. All right, Pete, do you want to give us a couple from the Bilotti Invitational Tournament? This is basically Pete's response.
The bit.
The reaction, the response, the rebuttal, if you will, to our 64 bracket.
So I will post the entire 32 bracket on my social media shortly. But there's four regions, 32 teams. We'll reseed after the Elite Eight. But the top two teams in each region are, for the Wake Up San Francisco region, that's Full House and Wonder Years. And then the Regal Beagle region, that's Three's Company and Laverne and Shirley.
We should not have left those two shows. We should not have left them to the bit.
It's in a bit.
Those are powerhouses.
The Tool Time region, Home Improvement, and Mad About You.
Tell them that I did not. Was I stumping for Home Improvement?
Home Improvement. I had an original list of nominees, and all these shows were on there, but please, except for Full House.
And then the Portraits of Specialty region. That's The Odd Couple and Barney Miller.
Oh, yeah. I had a friend who's all mad about The Odd Couple. That show was pretty awesome. That ran on syndication forever.
It's a common marathon show, too, it was locally here. It's on during New Year's as well.
That's Tony Randall and Jack Klugman, right?
Yep.
All right. So we gave you a lot of names there, a lot of shows, a lot of hurt feelings, a lot of people feeling,
The one.
upset.
All right, wait. What's the one snub to you, Maggie, that you feel the worst about? Because I have
Company.
one. Three's Company. Me too.
Yeah. I feel the worst about Three's Company.
Because if you're talking sitcoms, that's like, yes, it was not highbrow, but that is a sitcom. Like, that's as sitcom-y as you get.
Yeah. And
Laverne and Shirley, I feel pretty bad about, too. I had
also.
that.
I didn't watch Laverne and Shirley, though, but I did watch Three's Company.
Laverne and Shirley's on in 3 channels right now. You don't know who Lenny and Squiggy
No,
are?
I know who they are. I'm just saying, I'm not saying I've never seen it. I just didn't watch it consistently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Listen, in our effort to try to to cover a lot of ground, we covered a lot of years, a lot of eras. We tried to cover a lot of demographics. We tried to cover a lot of different audiences. We tried to really give a full portrait of television in the sitcom genre over the last 60 years.
That's why I wanted to just pull the list off of a big magazine who has professionals who do this. Like, I was like, why are we not just using Entertainment Weekly or Rolling Stone's list? I felt like there was way too much personal bias that got into this conversation.
I started yelling at Rolling Stone's list.
That list, or Rotten Tomatoes list, or IMDb's list. Just go with like an aggregate. There's aggregators out there who combine all the lists.
No.
Why do we always have to put our personal opinions into these like selection committees?
You want to know why? Because we don't cut corners around here. We're not just taking someone else's list. We're going to put out our own list because
That's how you get Boy Meets World in the bracket and not Laverne and Shirley.
Well,
that's how you get the bit.
Take it up with the committee, but we are the committee. 855-212-4227. There you go. You can go vote at Maggie and Pearl on X. Okay, lots more to do. We are previewing the AFC North today as well. And we get a special guest coming up in the next segment. Someone coming in with a little defense of Boy Meets World. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining.
Of the game under the bright lights, EJ stood ready, aiming for new heights. But fate took a turn on that somber play, left us all speechless, nothing to say. Chase me, oh, it has left us in the silence, the crowd's hush, dreams on hold. The cheers now freeze, hope fades out with a gentle breeze. Once guest on the field, now a quiet rest. Each stride a memory, we thought you the best. The journey's paused, the spirit feels heavy.
1 minute
how
remaining.
we miss you, strong and steady. Chase me, oh, it has left us in the silence, the crowd's hush, dreams on hold.
45
She is
seconds
now
remaining.
freeze. Hope
30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. You can go to our Twitter feed at Maggie and Pearl to vote on the sitcom bracket. The whole bracket is out, and the Peopleati Invitational Tournament of sitcoms is out. Man, this is going to be a long weekend, Maggie. Your phone's going to be blowing up. People are mad. I understand. But it's 64. It's not 264. Some people had to be left out.
I know. Bilotti's got a whole Bilotti Invitational tournament, and all that could be like top seeds in our actual sitcom bracket.
How did we let all these big names get through our bracket?
Well, we were doing a really wide range of things, you know? We're trying to serve a lot of different masters here. We're going through 60 different years of TV. So it's been a lot of text messages. It's been a lot of hurt feelings. It's been a lot of, breakups and makeups. But the whole bracket is out there in all of its glory. Perloff said it, at Maggie and Pearl on X. Now, we have a special guest who's joining us, who we've been thinking about and talking to, but we wanted the audience to be able to talk to him as well. And that is our executive producer, EJ Stewart, who is joining us via Zoom from the Stewart headquarters, rehabbing and resting the torn patella tendon in 2 places because he's a kickball hero and legend. EJ, what's up?
What's up, guys?
Yeah.
Good to see you guys. Good to see your faces. I mean, I've been watching you on my TV at home for the last 4 days, but good to actually kind of somewhat be on the show today. It's kind of cool.
Listen, we know everyone has been thinking about you, reaching out, sending you all the best wishes. Give us a little update on how the knee is doing. You had surgery, just about a week ago? A week and 2 days ago.
Yes, it was last Wednesday. I had surgery to rehab to repair my torn patella, which is resting right now on a very MacGyvered, little stand I have here to do this spot here. But yeah, I got surgery on my torn patella after playing kickball. Doing well. Good news, the best news I could say is that I'm not in a lot of pain right now, which is awesome. It's just the immobility that's annoying. So I do got to get on crutches, which is right next to me. off screen here. But it's been going well. Again, the doctor did a phenomenal job. I tore my patella tendon in 2 places. So, it ended up being a more invasive surgery than even the doctor imagined after seeing the X-rays. But good news is I'm doing well and I'm on my way back.
Well, you'll never steal third again, though, which, by the way, the analytics say never do. But you had no faith that anyone was going to knock you in. EJ was like, I got to do this on my own because my kickball team stinks. We needed you so bad. After you went out, we lost every game, EJ.
Look, it was 2 outs, and they say never get out on third. But look, I made it. So my thing was like, if I can make this, and someone else gets an infield hit, and I can score here. So I was thinking about the long term. I saw the first 2 at bats didn't look too good. So I was like, we got to manufacture some runs here.
EJ always thinking about the big picture, just like a good executive producer. So obviously, we're all wishing you the best, and we're keeping up on all your knee and all the rehab and stuff. And you'll be back in no time. And you handled it like a champ. Really, you did, like a pro. We know you were in a lot of pain. Couldn't even have told it. You had a brave face on through that whole bad experience. But okay, sitcom bracket. The 3 of us, this was a labor of love, emphasis on labor. Yep. And I'd say the biggest controversy, EJ, is having Boy Meets World. One of the biggest controversies is Saved by the Bell sitcom and having Boy Meets World in this bracket. Now, you are a big proponent of Boy Meets World, not to point fingers, but explain to the audience why you thought it was so important to get Boy Meets World in the bracket of 64.
Well, I think for us, we thought about a lot of different things, right? Just like any playoff committee or tournament committee. So there was how good the show was, how critically acclaimed the show was, how popular it was, and its staying power. So I know we think about Boy Meets World as a quote unquote kids show, but when you think about popularity and staying power, I can't think of too many shows and too many sitcoms that from the 90s still is in our lexicon today. We still talk about it. The jokes still happen on social media, and it is a truly iconic show. Watching the show the last 4 days, I know I haven't been on the show, but I've seen Perloff running away from all of our picks, and it's annoyed me. Like, as a committee, we need to stand together. And he's like, wait, I didn't want to do that. Wait, I don't. No, we did this as a group, okay?
Classic Perloff.
That is classic me.
We all had our own agendas, and one of mine was making sure that the iconic shows of the 90s that were iconic, even if they were quote-unquote kids shows, still made it. And I don't think that there's no question Boy Meets World is one of the more iconic sitcoms of the generation. No question.
This is going to sound mean, and you're hurt. And I just think that some people in the selection committee had a harder time than others putting their own personal bias to the side.
I'm going to disagree with you on that. I think EJ was a good team player here. He's totally right. Perloff has run and hid from all of the controversial selections. But I do think EJ and I did outnumber you in 2 areas. One is, I think we both didn't mind having a show for quote-unquote kids. Just because it was for kids doesn't mean that it should necessarily take it out of the running for being a good sitcom.
Right, that was the big structural difference. So, that's why not because Boy Meets World wasn't awesome, but just because I just thought it didn't belong with these other adult sitcoms.
Yeah, and so Saved by the Bell, Boy Meets World, in your view, Gilligan's Island. Although, EJ, you're claiming Gilligan's Island, definitely not a kid show.
Yeah, that honestly, I don't think I yelled more by TV than I saw Perloff say that yesterday. How is Gilligan's Island a kid's show? Like, Lizzie McGuire is a kid's show. Hannah Montana is a kid's show. Gilligan's Island is first of all, it's dark. Like, these people are on an island, they can't get off. There's a lot of sex jokes in Gilligan's Island. I'm like, did he watch the same show I watched? That was not a kid's show. I watched it as a kid, but it's not a kid's show.
Because nobody over 11 is watching Gilligan's Island. That was my thinking.
Those aren't coconuts. I mean, it's a lot of sex jokes.
But that's how I learned about it.
But what I realized was that, like, I think what Perloff thinks is kids shows is actually family shows. So in the 60s and 70s, and that was my other big agenda, was make sure that the 60s and 70s were really represented. Because that's my mom's era. My mom loves those sitcoms, so I wanted to make sure we got enough of those shows on there. But in that era, like, there were only 5 channels. So you had to put on shows that not only adults could watch, but kids could enjoy. So, like, Gilligan's Island, I think, is a family show. I wouldn't say it's a kids show.
Okay, regardless, Boy Meets World, I'm looking at the People-Ati Invitational. Like, how did we let Boy Meets World get in over Three's Company, Laverne and Shirley, Home Improvement? Like, these are iconic sitcoms, Boy Meets World is just not even that good a show.
So one other thing that got a lot of brushback on social media I could see, and one of them was from our friend Mike Samter, who thought Family Guy was very low seeded because we put Family Guy as a 14 seed. And I think we all kind of agree that it was. But the big thing we wrestled with as a committee was whether we should put cartoons on at all. We weren't sure what to do here. We knew The Simpsons was iconic. We had to go with The Simpsons. We ended up going with Family Guy and South Park. South Park was a 7 seed. So it wasn't all low seeds, but yes, I guess Family Guy, EJ, was a little low seeded. Even as a committee, we can probably agree that should have been higher.
Not me. I had it high.
Again, Perloff, foxhole guy.
The Family Guy one is the one where I will take the majority of the heat. Okay, so I was the person on the committee who argued vehemently to not have any animated shows.
Yeah.
Because to me, how Perloff thinks about kids shows is how I think about animated shows. Is that it's an entirely different process, an entirely different creative thing that goes into making an animated show. There are different challenges that come with making animation that comes with making live action. I thought this should have been a pure live action bracket. So I didn't have, when we did this original bracket, and maybe I'll put up the original 64 I didn't have any animated shows on there. So when we then had to add Simpsons, Family Guy, and South Park, I think we kind of overlooked Family Guy when we were doing seeding. Family Guy is an iconic show. I would have had it as at least a top 4 seed if I was doing an animated show bracket that included this. But my problem was, where do you stop with the animated shows? Then where's the Flintstones? Where's the Jetsons? Where's SpongeBob SquarePants? Like, to me, like there's no stopping when you say, okay, let's put animated shows in there. I can give you 20 animated shows that could be in this top 64.
Well, here's where this is the gist of the problem with me. Every single list out there on the internet of top sitcoms has Simpsons in the top 5. We're smarter than all those lists, and we decide that anime.
Who are those people?
That's what those people are. That's what I'm saying. Like, why?
But you don't think they bring biases to this, and that's just
but
not
they
true.
all bring biases?
Yes.
I just think this is like, there is a reason there's a consensus in these lists, and I think that consensus is important. And that's why the Pilati Invitational Tournament is so darn good, because like we ignored the list. We thought we were smarter than the list.
I think we are smarter than the list. Listen,
we're not.
EJ, thank you for doing this. Now we got to get to our update, but just so everyone knows, like, I'm glad they could see you, that you're doing well. And EJ, I mean, also working very tirelessly behind the scenes, especially on this bracket, even though you're on one leg and can't move. Thank you for all your help on this and continued help on it, because I know you're playing hurt right now, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. And I definitely want you guys have been so supportive. 3 of you guys, Bogus, Kaplan, everybody out there at Infinity Sports. I want to give a big thank you again also to the Wheatos and Coffee drinkers and our listeners. A lot of you guys have reached out to me personally. A lot of you guys have reached out to me via comments section of posts I've done or DMs. You guys have been phenomenal. Those well wishes have been received warmly, and I thank you guys so much. You guys rock.
Awesome.
All
right, EJ, have a good weekend. Well, we'll talk to you, because we're on a never-ending it's a never-ending conversation that just goes on and on and on. That's been co-opted by sitcoms over the last month. All right, awesome. And EJ's doing well, and he'll be back on his feet soon enough. CeeLo is here with headlines. What up?
All right, Pirates manager Derek Shelton on rookie sensation Paul Skeens, who delivered 7 no-hit innings in yesterday's 1-0 win over the Brewers to improve to 6-0 with a sub-2 ERA across his 11 big league starts.
I don't think anybody thinks that when you come to the big leagues, it's going to be like this. And there's going to be some rough patches that he's gone through. I think we're just speaking, it's a testament to, last year we made the right decision. We made the right decision on how we prepared him coming into the year.
Not rushing to promote him to the majors after they took him with the first overall pick last summer. Those rough patches haven't arrived just yet. At some point they will, but so far so good for Skeens, as he certainly looks the part. Meantime, Perloff's guy, the working man, Kyle Schwarber, helping the Phillies sweep the Dodgers.
And the pitch. Breaking ball blasted. Down the line and right, that's gone. Wow, up into the second deck.
It's like a line shot into the second deck. Once again, the Dodgers have bases loaded. Wow. Nothing happens. Nobody scores, and the Phils turn around and score themselves next half of inning.
And he went into the dugout and, polished off a six-pack, like you said.
Oh, come on. If there's any person in all of Major League Baseball who could be on a softball team, that is Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, beer league softball. I don't disagree. That's pretty much what he does up the top of the lineup there. Hits home runs or strikes out.
It's amazing that he's a leadoff. I love it.
Selling him a little bit short here. I think that he's beer league. The guy's made like $150 million in his life.
He looks like
relative.
He looks like a softball player.
Yeah,
the way he swings. You're right. He never runs, because it's either he's trotting around the bases or he's going back to the dugout.
Yeah,
that one he hit last night is still in the air.
He did speak for the people once when he laid into Angel Hernandez, and it was one of the best player interactions with an umpire I've ever seen. So he spoke for the people on that one.
Maybe he single-handedly got Angel run out of Major League Baseball.
If he did, I'll buy a jersey of his tomorrow,
or just buy him
The
a
Cubs
six-pack.
version. Yeah, right. No,
All
he's
right.
set on those two.
Yeah, right. He's got more than he needs in that
Yeah.
department. That was number 19 for Schwarber, part of a 5-1 Phils win over the Dodgers as they took all three from L.A., improving to an MLB best 61-32. How about the ending to last night's Yankees-Rays rubber game? So the Yanks down 2 in the ninth, played it a run, had the tying run at third base, the go-ahead run at second base with 2 outs.
See what he gets on a 3-2 pitch from Fairbanks. Here it is. Fly ball, more like a pop fly. Shallow left center. Cabrera out. Here comes Siri. And the catch is made by Caballero with his back to the infield to win the game.
That's Rays radio. Did you guys see the highlight of this play?
Yeah.
So he basically goes, it's pretty much medium center field. I don't know, their defensive alignment. They had guys playing deep, and he went way out there, makes the catch, like they said, with the back to the field. But then as he kind of flexes to celebrate, he knocks the ball out of his own glove. So temporarily, there's some confusion. The Yankees, of course, are saying
Challenge.
he dropped it.
Yeah.
The whole thing. But a quick review, it did stand, much to the relief of Rays closer Pete Fairbanks.
You know, as they say, all's well that ends well when they signal that it was on the transfer. Unlike Dez, he caught it.
Well, Des Bryant
This dude is a
Fairbanks.
gem.
Yes, he is.
Fairbanks, he's like, whenever he blows a save, he's like, I suck today. I mean, he's got a future
Keeps it real.
broadcasting. Yeah.
Yes, very blunt, very honest. So good job
Wait,
out of
is
him.
he from Texas too? Is that?
He
I'm gonna
might
find
be.
out.
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
I'll find out. Don't
We were kind of off the mark judging accents earlier with our caller from wherever the heck he was from.
Pittsburgh, yeah.
So, I'm not
okay,
sure.
We kind of hit on this
Milwaukee.
yesterday.
I was way off.
Texas, Milwaukee, yeah.
Wait, he's,
Oh no, he went to University of Missouri, so he must have been born in Milwaukee,
Yeah.
but then
So
I
not
have no
Texas.
idea.
You mentioned this yesterday. So the Yankees have nothing but negative headlines every time you come in here. And then
Yeah.
I looked at their record. They're still like 18 games over 500.
Yes, that's
What is
how.
it's
that's
the
how
weirdest thing. Like,
good a start they
I
got
know they're
off
a big
to.
storyline going into the All-Star break, but like I feel like they're like struggling. They're at the bottom of the, and then they're like third best record.
They have not won a series in a month.
How
and
are they so good still?
in that span? They have the worst record in baseball.
I know they got off to like a 50-10 record or something.
I think they were 50-22 was their
Yeah.
peak or something
They
like that.
built this massive cushion that's
Yeah.
basically gone in the AL East.
But similarly, the Orioles this week had the Cubs at home. They got swept by Chicago. So the
Is it-
Yankees are struggling. Orioles get swept, and now they start a
They
series
meet,
against
right?
each other beginning tonight, leading into the All-Star break. So the Yankees are having their struggles. The other New York teams, the opposite of the Mets, have kicked it in gear since the start of June. They've got the best record in baseball, and they finished off a sweep of the Nationals yesterday, moving 2 games over 500 for the first time since late April.
Well, and that's the funny part. It's like, wow, the Mets are on fire. They're 2 games over 500.
Yeah.
It's like,
The ups and downs of
barely.
baseball season, all right?
But you have to admit,
162
that's a
games.
surprise. Bilotti buried them.
Oh,
We all did.
I'm still not there yet, to be honest with you. It's they don't have an ace, and they could use some help in the bullpen.
It's all right. They got a hit single called "Oh My God," and not a base hit single.
That's all you need. Jose Iglesias
a song,
leading
yeah.
the charge. He's had a lot of hits offensively as well, by the
That's
way.
true.
He swung the bat well for them. Wimbledon semis, you got the first match ongoing. Carlos Alcaraz, the defending champion, Daniil Medvedev. Medvedev actually took the first set in a tiebreak, but in convincing fashion in the tiebreak there, 7-1. That'll be followed by Novak Djokovic against Lorenzo Musetti. Circling back to a piece of audio and something you guys discussed much earlier this morning, Aaron Rodgers at this celebrity golf tournament in Lake Tahoe this week, floating a possible Devontae Adams reunion out there after Adams had already revealed Rodgers has been in his ear about that a bit recently.
I think Luke Getsy's going to utilize Devontae Adams good in the new Raiders offense. I love Luke Getsy. He's a fantastic coach. Awesome. I love Devontae. I can't wait to play with him again. Great. Love to hear it. Yeah.
You know what's funny about that is, yeah, this is Rodgers definitely wanted to make a stir here because he could have just said, and Luke's going to use Devontae Adams in this great way. He didn't have to volunteer. I can't wait to play with him.
Right. It wasn't responding to a direct question. He inserted that part in there himself.
He's manifesting.
Now, I don't know if he's talking about playing with him on the golf course, perhaps, because Adams is in this tournament as well, right? He's out there this week
You're
at Lake
talking about
Tahoe.
the offensive coordinator.
I know.
It's a football conversation.
It's typical Rodgers. We got to kind of read between the lines and figure out what he really means. So I have no idea, but it was kind of an interesting soundbite from yesterday. And then the last thing, we didn't talk about the ESPYs at all, and not to make light of it. So You had this very inspirational speech from Steve Gleason accepting the Arthur Ashe Award for coverage, for courage. It's via automation on stage. He's joined by his son, and at one point he's talking about his affliction with ALS and how without the help and support of his family and his caretakers, the line he said was, "I'd have been dead already," right? Unfortunate timing, we'll go with. Right as he delivers the "I'd have been dead already," the camera cuts to Damar Hamlin in the crowd. So I can't imagine that was done on purpose, but timing-wise, it was just it was an awkward visual. The optics will say not great. So I don't know what that was all about, but that's been floating around a little bit. People have been kind of
It's unfortunate for the director there.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't stay up to watch that part of it, but I was watching a lot of the Dawn Staley got a special award and Nick Saban got a special award, and they were great. It just I was surprised. They really gave them a lot of room. This wasn't like a Oscars acceptance speech.
Yeah, there's like
type
5 and 6 minutes at a time.
It was like keynote speaker type length.
Prince Harry as well.
Prince Harry got a lot of time.
Yeah, it was interesting.
All for really good moments and causes. It was just I was surprised.
This could sound somewhat harsh and mean, but I think if you are sitting there watching the ESPYs, it's time to reevaluate things.
Oh, come on.
Even if turn it by and don't turn it immediately, there's something wrong with you.
Well, excluding this, I agree with you.
Yeah, I think everybody agrees with you. I mean, Maggie, even you it was a bit of a drive-by, right? You didn't say, I got to watch the ESPYs tonight.
I got to it late, and I tuned in right when they started getting to all the heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching stuff, which is great. And listen, they do so much for charity. Like, you can't knock that at all.
I just did.
Yeah,
but
because it's Disney and give me a break.
I was just wrung out, it was so emotional. It was back to back to back emotional things from what I watched, Prince Harry to Dawn Staley to Nick Saban.
Easier to digest it in the clips the next day.
Yeah, I just want to see Serena having good jokes. I don't need to see
Right.
Prince Harry give a speech about sports. What the heck do I care?
Well, Invictus Games, I guess, is what he was doing.
Yes, and Pat Tillman's family.
Pat Tillman's family, yeah. I mean,
he was well spoken. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
More importantly, I just tried to do a live bet on Alcaraz Medvedev. Alcaraz is still a gigantic favorite. Gigantic favorite in this match, even though he lost the first set. It's minus 200.
Okay.
I can't get the odds here, Maggie.
Gigantic was, but.
Perhaps Alcaraz is going to walk over this. I look up as he's losing.
When he wins a point, it's spectacular. I guess you have to win all the points, though.
Thank you, Pearl, for that stunning analysis. CeeLo, thank you. Fantastic job yesterday and today. Appreciate you so much. Okay, coming up, we've got a lot more to do, including our breakdown of the AFC North, as we've been doing all show long. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Thought it changed my life. Got a well filter. Thought it changed my life. Spent some good money. Cut the water strife. But now I'm sitting here with my glass in hand, wondering if it's just a scam. Oh man, oh man. Brita filters don't do a thing. Just another product with a fancy ring. Pour the water in, let it do its dance. But my tap tastes the same, don't stand a chance. Perloff, Maggie Gray, hear my plea. Brit is just a trick, can't you see? Every drop that flows through, it's all the same. Brita's got our wallets, but it's all a game. Brita filters don't do a thing. Just another product with a fancy ring. Pour the water in, let it do its dance. But my tap tastes the same, don't stand a chance. Andrew Perloff, Maggie Gray, hear my plea. Brita's just a trick, can't you see? Every drop that flows through, it's all the same. Brita's got our wallets, but it's all a game. Brita filters don't do a thing. Just another product with a fancy ring. Pour the water in, let it do its dance. But my tap tastes the same, don't stand a chance. I trusted in the hype, thought it'd be alright. But every sip I take, it's like day and night. Gotta face the truth, can't hide the fact. Brita Brita filters, they don't have your back. Conspiracies abound like fluoride in the tap. Brita's just another in their hidden trap. Don't fall for the hype, keep your money tight. Maggie and Perloff, you know I'm right. Brita filters don't do a thing, just another product with a fancy ring. Pour the water in, let it do its dance, but my tap tastes the same, don't stand a chance. So next time you're tempted by the Brita charm, remember this song and raise the alarm. Don't fall for the hype, save your cash today. Brita filters, man, just throw them away. So next time you're tempted by the Brita charm, remember this song and raise the alarm. Don't fall for the hype, save your cash today. Brita filters, man, just throw them away.
One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Just want to remind you, if you would like to vote on our sitcom bracket, you can do it at Maggie and Pearl on X. You also have Pete's alternate bracket, the Bilotti Invitational Tournament.
The
Bit is out. It's live. You can go to Pete Bilotti, Pete the Body
on X, Twitter, whatever they call it. And the actual matchups will start this weekend.
Phenomenal. Love it. Big shout out to Pete, who's been doing a lot behind the scenes this week. So we appreciate you very much jumping in and being flexible on that. Pete doing a lot. Okay, so go vote. We got some early upsets brewing.
Yeah.
Is in the MASH region with definitely one of your favorites, Perloff. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Looks like it's upset special time over Family Matters. So
did I do that?
There you go. We were breaking down the AFC North throughout this show.
Yeah.
My big takeaway, I think that the Steelers' run and Mike Tomlin's run specifically of having teams that finish over 500, sometimes miraculously, that's going to come to an end this season. What was your big takeaway?
I just look at this division, and in August, we're going to probably pick our Super Bowl teams, maybe in early September. I think it's fair to look at the Bengals, and it's fair to look at the Ravens. But I worry, are all four of these teams going to beat each other in the smithereens? And the reason I say that, the Browns are loaded. I mean, they have I think they could have a top 3 offensive line, a top 3 defensive line, and that's where you win football games. I don't know what Deshaun Watson's going to be. I don't know that it matters. You have so much talent on that roster. There's just no easy game in that division. So no one's getting, well, maybe the Ravens will do it again because they always do. But I feel like, isn't that a problem that they're all going to beat up each other as you look at them individually and try and handicap a Super Bowl winner?
Well, it's been tough to really, this division has been tough sometimes because you have all, like 3 out of the 4 teams have these really amazing quarterbacks, but Joe Burrow has gotten hurt the last 2 out of the 4 years. Lamar Jackson has gotten hurt, not last year, but the year before. And then Deshaun Watson, just as he's starting to show signs that he could be the guy he was in Houston, he got hurt. And to be fair to the Texans, the Browns who faced the Texans in the playoffs, they did a lot with Joe Flacco, but I do think it's kind of odd that Joe Flacco had to basically be banished because maybe he was a threat to Deshaun Watson. Like, that is weird to me.
There's a lot. I mean, it's Cleveland. I mean, that's a franchise that's had a lot of weird stuff going on.
No kidding.
But look at the defensive guys in this. You got TJ Watt. You got Myles Garrett. You got Justin Madubuike in the Ravens defense. And the Bengals are great on defense, too. It's like, it's amazing to be. It just feels like a brutal division.
But it always is.
It always is. You're right.
That's like the whole MO about the AFC North. So that's just a little bit about what's going on. Obviously, we're going to get much deeper into these teams.
I'll tell you what I'm doing this weekend. I'm going to go on X and argue with people about sitcoms. That's all I want to do for the next
here's a
72
question.
hours.
So EJ mentioned, who joined us earlier, our executive producer, EJ Stewart, he went back and watched episodes of Gilligan's Island because you were calling it a kid show and he was wanting to rebuke that. After now talking about these sitcoms, looking up, researching these sitcoms, all we've done for the Maggie Perloff sitcom bracket, which one would you want to go back and watch? Have you thought about that?
Yeah. Well, no, I have not thought about it. So the clips we were playing were really funny. I mean, all of them. Is it possible that I missed on Everybody Loves Raymond? Like, I missed that one. There's so much talent. I always thought they were kind of mean to each other. Maybe that's one I got to look at again. I want you to check out the Chuck Lorre shows. Early 2.5 Men with Charlie Sheen. I'll bet you it's funnier than we thought.
I realized I probably missed the boat on Sanford and Son. I think that's the funniest clip.
You weren't alive. I mean,
not by a mile. But maybe that is one I should go watch. Beat Pilati, thank you. Andrew Kaplan, Chris LoPresti. Appreciate you guys.
You're in a 5-minute break.